Hey everybody, welcome to the celebrity Larry-thon.
I think it's celebrity. I'm going to have some cool people here today, and I hope that you will be enjoying the people that will be coming on today. We're trying to make something very special happen. As you know, we have submitted our signatures for us to be on the ballot. We are hoping that we are going to be able to stay on the ballot and not be pushed off or somehow fought. We're trying our best to make sure that doesn't happen. If it does, we're going to fight it. As you know, we will. So that is our hope for the future. And that's why we are doing our best to do as we always can do. Push forward, raise money, keep pushing forward and making things happen. And thank you so much for showing up today in this very important Celebrity Larry-thon 2022. I haven't had one of these in a while. So now I have it now. It should be pretty exciting. I am asking many things from you. The one thing I'm asking from you more than anything else is to like and comment and share. That is the number one thing I'm asking of you. I know that may be a lot for some of you. It isn't. It's not much for you. You can do it. Click that like button or subscribe if you're on YouTube. This is actually shown on 7. This one I think is on 7 different pages. So it's on 7 different sites all over. Hopefully people are noticing and they're paying attention, I hope. And then more people are watching. As many as I can get to watch, we need to, so please like and comment and share to the best of your ability. It does move those algorithms forward and gets people paying attention. That is what matters. But also, during this 3-hour event, you don't have to watch all 3 hours if you want to. You should, because it's going to be cool and fun. So you should watch all 3 hours. But even if you don't, doesn't matter. The most important piece is we are going to be here trying to show you the coalitions that we're building, the future that we're building, some good entertainment so you can decide, you know what? It is completely worth it to support Larry Sharpe in his attempt to push forward to become governor of New York. And you might say, Larry, that's a big leap. That is. You would be right. That is absolutely a big leap. But is it possible? Am I just fooling myself? Am I tilting at windmills? Perhaps, but let me give you some information that may make you think differently. Number one, this is going to be a 3-way race. 3 ways. It will be my New York State governor, Kathy Hochul, who is not popular even among Democrats, but that's not enough to make me win. But that's one factor. Second, against a Republican who is going to be a hardcore Trumpster, and in New York State, that's not going to fly. Oklahoma, maybe it's fine. New York State, not going to fly. Not going to fly here in this state. Just how it works, right? We are 3-1 Democrat to Republican. So Republican's not going to win. The Democrat looks like will win unless an outsider comes into the fray. An outsider who's done this before, an outsider who already polls at 6%, an outsider who can get Democrats to vote for him. That will be me, and that is a fact. 25% of the people who voted for me last time were registered Democrats, and the data shows this same thing now in the recent polling. So that hasn't changed. I get Democrats to vote for me. We know that. We know it needs an outsider who can make a coalition with people like, I don't know, the Forward Party backed by Andrew Yang. Someone like that. Yeah, that's the guy you're looking at. Now, does that mean I win? It doesn't. But if I run a very strong campaign, if I'm out there raising money, if I'm out there getting polling done, which you've seen I've already been doing, so those of you who've been supporting me, you can see the polling's already coming out. So I'm doing what I said. We're getting on the ballot. I'm doing what I said. So every time you start throwing money my way, you see I'm doing what I said with that money. It is happening, what I talked about, right? But not just that. Getting advertisements. We haven't gone that level yet. That's the next step. Getting some ads out there, right? We start doing that. That's our next step. We do that and run a serious campaign. Then all Kathy Hochul has to do is more dumb stuff, which she's actually very good at. If she does something very bad, enough to where enough Democrats in New York State go, you know what? I don't think I want to support this person. Democrats in New York State will have 3 options. Option 1, stay home. In the non-presidential election, sadly, many people do. That's a common thing. New York State sometimes only has 30% turnout. So they may stay home. That's option 1. Option 2, they hold their nose and vote for Kathy Hochul anyway, because I'm a Democrat. Who cares? They do that. Or 3, they vote for me. If enough stay home plus vote for me, I've only got to get about 35% of the vote. That's possible. Now, the Republicans in this state finally realize If you want to vote for a local Republican in New York State, they win. It's true. Locally, Republicans do win across the state. The state has a lot of red districts. That's true. So if locally you want to vote for Republican, it's not a wasted vote. Your guy might actually win. It's fine. Statewide, Republican hasn't won in this state in 20 years. 20 years, Republican has not won any statewide election. Not governor, lieutenant governor, not senator, nothing in 20 years. And the state's getting bluer, not redder. So if Republicans get that the idea of a Republican winning in this state is a big lie, and they realize, you know what? They either stay home, option one, which again, in off-presidential elections happens often, or two, they hold their nose and vote Republican anyway because I'm a Republican, so they vote anyway. It's one. Another option. Or option three, they vote for me. If enough of that happens, I win this thing. So is it a winnable race? Yes. I have to hope a lot of things happen, and I must run a good, serious race so that when people look at me, they go, this guy's viable. This guy's viable. Okay, we'll vote for him. If that happens, I win. All right, Larry, what happens if you win? The entire nation changes overnight. There's no other race that can say that. No other race. No other race this year at all that if somebody wins, the entire nation changes. Imagine for one moment that New York goes from blue to gold. Goes from Cuomo to Hochul to Sharp. The whole nation changes. That's how important this race is. That's why I'm bugging you. That's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm rolling the dice to make this happen. That is the reason why I'm trying to make this happen. That's the reason why I'm doing this. That's why I'm pushing this to make this happen. But Larry, you know what? You might not win. It's true. I wish I could guarantee victory. That'd be awesome. I can't guarantee it. But here's what I can tell you. What if I come in second? And to come in second, I've only got to get about 20%. 20%, probably less, probably 18%. And I come in second. Because the Democrats probably going to get over 50%. That's how it works in the state usually, unless I'm the one who beats them. If I don't beat a Democrat will have a big chunk. The Republicans not going to get more than 30 at max. Probably if they get their butt beat down to 15. I could win at 18 to 20% and come in second. All right, Larry. So you come in second, you still lost. That's true. I will still have lost. I will still have lost the election. However, New York state law states the top two parties, as decided by the gubernatorial race, run the state's board of elections. So the Republicans would have been kicked out of the board of elections. Now, that's not going to stand because there aren't enough libertarians in my state to run the board of elections. So they'll have to rewrite the rules, which I'm fine with. They rewrite the rules, they'll have to add third parties into the rules. What does that mean? If I come in second, and that's real, I come in second, New York State goes from a single-party democracy, which, by the way, is not a democracy, and it becomes a multi-party democracy overnight. Think about that. New York State becomes a multi-party democracy overnight, which means we can now create a coalition against the establishment. Because the reality of this is the average Democrat, the average Republican isn't our enemy. The establishment is. That's the truth. The average Republican, the average Democrat running around New York State just thinks that their ways are a better way to get what they want. They just believe it to be true. They're wrong, but it's fine. They believe that. If we can show them a way of getting rid of the establishment and making real change, now the state changes. And you may say, Larry, why do I care about your stupid race in New York? I don't live in New York. I don't care. Do you see what's happening in New York now? Do you see all the laws and rules and regulations being passed in New York now? Who's going to copy them? Yeah, the federal government and your state. You think I'm joking? Wake up. New York State is the battleground state. This is where all the garbage happens. This is where it happens. And if we can stop it here, we stop it in your state. We don't stop it here, it's coming to your state or the federal government. Biden's trying to copy what my governor's doing. Biden loves what my governor's doing. Oh, great. Let's copy everything she's doing. You want that in your state? Help me here. I'm on the front line. I'm on the front line right now. Help me on the front line right now so it doesn't come to your state. If you live in New York State, I don't know why you wouldn't vote for me. I mean, I don't know what's wrong with you if you wouldn't vote for me if you live in New York State. But if you don't live in New York State, I get it. You can't vote for me. But you can still support me. Either by, as I've asked, by liking and commenting and sharing and doing all of those things that matter to get the word out. That's one. Or two, by donating. There's a link right there. There's a link right there in the description. And there's a link right here. It's LarrySharpe.com/June. As you can do, LarrySharpe.com/June. Oh, this one, click this link right here and donate. Give me some cash so I can do what I said I was going to do. You've watched me do what I say. You've seen this. And for those of you who go, Larry, you know what? I've given to a lot of campaigns before and nothing ever happened. Yeah, you're right. Can't fight you on that one. Has it happened in my campaign? Never. Never. You've never seen me stop. You've never seen me quit. For those of you who are in New York State now, if you spent your time, your money, and your energy on the Democrat in 2018, what do you get? Thank you. Not a damn thing. And he's gone now. So you got nothing. So you threw your vote, your time, your money all in the garbage. If you put your money in a Republican, where are they now? Nowhere. Gone. Nothing. You got nothing. Yeah, exactly. You threw your vote, your time, your money away. You put it into me. I'm still here. I'm still giving you everything I can. I'm still coming up with ways to fix this state. I'm still running around saying, here's how we can fix things. I'm still here. You invested. That's what you did. And I said, well, Larry, that's great. I don't live in New York. So how am I investing in you? I'm going to tell you how you're investing in me. You can head right now to LarrySharpe.com and what you will see is a policy library. Yeah, it was in 2018. It's there now. Tell me what other candidate who's libertarian is creating policy libraries. You're looking at the only one. Look at the only one. You go, Larry, I want to run in my state. Yeah, go to LarrySharpe.com and take my policies, please. I want to run nationally. Go in LarrySharpe.com and take my policies, please. Take them. If they'll work in New York, literally the least free state in a union, ranked multiple years in a row by Cato, least free. Take that, California, number one. We're number one. We're the least free. If they will work in my state, modify them for your state. Of course they'll work in your state. No matter what, your state's better than mine, wherever you live. That's why you should care. You cannot just, if you want to win, you cannot just speak rhetoric. Rhetoric matters. Of course it does. But policy also matters if you're running as a candidate. I'm creating that policy here. You guys also know something else. In the 4 years in between my last run and this run, what did I do? I supported local candidates. You saw me do it. You saw me raise money for them. If you're in another state, you've seen me go to your state and raise money. Did that for free, just because. I've raised over $1 million, if I include myself, $500,000 also for others in the last 6 years. I've raised over $1 million for libertarian candidates, libertarian parties, local parties across this country in the last 6 years. So yeah, if you're in the liberty movement, investing in this campaign is an investment, regardless of win, lose, or draw. Michael, Larry, I get all this stuff you're talking about, but you know what? The reality of it is, I think you're going to come in third. That's what I think. Okay, maybe you're right. I think you're wrong, but maybe you're right. And I come in third. Okay, as long as I come in a close third. A close third is all that matters. I come in a close third. You know what's going to happen? People are going to listen to me because, oh my God, how'd he make so much impact in New York State? We thought no one could make impact in New York State. No, Larry Sharpe could and did. And when that happens, then people begin to hear what I'm saying. What does that mean? That means the stuff I talk about will resonate in your state when you're running or your friends running or some libertarians running. What I'm doing here is allowing for others to be more viable, to raise more money, to be able to speak better and to function better in the arena that is mainstream politics. And I'm going to be very forward on this. There is no one who's run as a libertarian with an L on their name that is more tested than I am in the media. That person does not exist. I am the most tested person who's run as an L, libertarian, in the media today. No one else who's out there running around doing it. No one else with me. I'm the most tested. Not even close. Not even close. In the debate stage, with actual politicians who are fighting back and forth, trying to cut your heart out, with it in front of other media personnel who are trying to smack you, reporters who are trying to put you down. You've watched. You've seen me on podcasts. No one's more tested. Nobody is. So who better to assist others in this realm? This is an investment. I'm asking you to make that investment. Even if I come in third, it's still valuable no matter what. If you can give, give. If you can't, no worries. Like, comment, share, it doesn't matter. Some haven't said yet. I'm hoping to get 100 people to give $100. That'd be awesome if you can. That'd be great. I'm sorry, 50 people, not 100. 50 people. 50 people give $100, and 5 people give $1,000 if I can this evening. Why? If I can get to 10 grand, I get another donor who will be very nice and match that number, and we'll get 20 grand. 20 grand is going to help tremendously in the next step, which is more polling and more ads. You guys may not realize how important polling is. And it can't be polling that I just do on my own, which is nice. I can do that. That's actually inexpensive. I can get a marketing company to do polling. Some of you know that. You can get a marketing company to do polling, probably 6, 7 grand, depending upon where you go in that area. Maybe a little bit less, a little bit more, depending upon how reputable the firm is. The problem is the media only covers the heavy hitters. So it's good for me to do polling so that I know where I stand. That's nice. But that doesn't get covered by the media. But when the big boys do polling, Zogby, Sienna, Gallup, when they do polling, then the media covers them. So I get media coverage by doing polling. And in almost every instance, the coverage I get is somehow skewed negatively, except for 2 things. There's only 2 ways in which I actually have an advantage. If I poll more than 5%, it's magic. They're like, oh my God, this guy's a third party. Look, he's polling more than 5%. It's magical. They don't laugh at me. They get scared. They're excited. Oh my God. Now, if I was Democrat or Republican polling 5%, they laugh at me. What a chump. Oh my God. But me, Libertarian, polling at 6%, the world's ending. Oh my God. So any polling I do that gets me moving up at all is a huge story for them. That's why polling is a big deal. The second way is I don't have to raise millions of dollars. I would love to raise $1 million. If any of you happen to have $1 million lying around, please donate as soon as you possibly can. That'd be awesome. Actually, you can't. To be forward, the max you can donate is about $44,000. So if you happen to have $1 million, thank you, but just give me $44,000. My point being, if I raised $500,000 last time, that was magical. My opponents raised, 6 million and 12 million, right? So I didn't even raise $1 million, but people were still very impressed by that. Oh my God, a third party raising that kind of money. Same thing now. The problem is now I'm up against even more. My governor already has $20 million raised. Already $20 million. The Republican looks like he's going to win, already has $10 million. I've only raised $250,000, which is a lot, but that all went into ballot access. All of that, every dollar went into petitioners. So that was it cost me $300,000 to get on the ballot. Let me say it again. It cost me $300,000 to get on the ballot. That's how bad and broken, New York State ballot access rules are. If you can't raise $300,000, you got no shot of being on the ballot. That's what I'm doing. Why am I sitting here bugging you now? Cause that. I had to drop 300 grand to do this. I know you think I'm crazy. No, but I had to. So I've got to keep raising money to move this forward. The system is set up to smack me down. I'm not complaining about that. Well, I am. But I knew what I was getting myself into. I volunteered for this. So don't feel sorry for me. I just wrote myself another check, which I hate writing myself checks. But I had to. The first time I wrote myself a check for 10 grand. I didn't write myself a check for as much this time. I just decided to not work. So I'm going to be in debt once this is over. Again, don't feel sorry for me. I knew what I was doing. What I'm asking you is instead of going, oh, Larry, we feel sorry for you. I hope you do, but not required. Instead, say, you know what, Larry? Let me throw a couple dollars your way. Instead. Every buck you can do is great. I'm trying to get 50 people to give $100. If you can do it, it's awesome. If you can't, no worries. Liking, commenting, and sharing is just as important. This system is set up to hammer me. I know that. I need your help. I need you to keep rocking and rolling to the best of your ability. 100%. If you're doing that, we are rocking and rolling. That's what we're trying to achieve. Let me grab a couple of comments real fast if I could. I know some of you are giving me comments. I appreciate it. Stefan says, do I get a deal on a car to this? No, that's Toyota-thon, which is close to Larry-thon. It is. What you get with Larry-thon is if things go well, you get a freer country. Way better than a car. Like way better than a car. So I appreciate that, but a freer country is a whole lot better, is all I'm saying. So yeah, that's where I am on that one. So yes. All right. Let me go down if I could. Shelly says, good evening. Thank you. That's a good comment, guys. That is a good comment. Nikki says, hello, fellow Larry-tarians. Guys, thank you so much for the Larry-tarian piece. I appreciate that. I'm trying very hard to make sure that people are getting behind me in this. It does matter tremendously. Yes. Let me see if I can keep going down here if I could. Jerry says, much love from Texas. See, Texans love me too. Texans love me too. It isn't just New Yorkers. It's also Texans. Absolutely. Dave, I hope I'm on the right channel. You are. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Alfred says, hi, Larry. I hope you're running for governor of New York again. Yes. And let me be very clear. This guy's got a Buffalo Bills sticker right there, right? Okay, I love that. That's awesome. He wasn't sure I'm running for New York, for governor of New York. Why wasn't he? Because I am horribly shadow banned, which is why I bug you to like, comment, and share all the time to get around that horrible shadow banning. So thank you so much. I appreciate 100%. I really do. So yes. John says, how hard did the establishment fight in 2018 in regards to pushing up the ballot? They did, but luckily we were just so good it didn't matter. The advantage we have is, you know, we spend time. Most people don't know is when it comes to petitions, you have to, if you want to spend time kind of cleaning them, making sure everything is right, getting people to make sure they have a witness statement, making sure everything's written out effectively. You have to literally go to the person who's doing it and say, hey, you got to write this, you got to write that, you got to write this, you got to write that. You got to make sure everything's correct, or they will literally send people through and look at every single one and go, nope, that's wrong, that's wrong. And the courts are against you. For example, I'm not making this up. If you put Brooklyn instead of Kings County, they will say that's an illegitimate signature. How stupid is that? Does anyone not know what Brooklyn is? But a judge will go, yep, that is not an accurate signature. They will throw you off for something as simple as that. Many people don't know that Brooklyn is not actually called Brooklyn. Officially, it's called Kings County. Manhattan is not called Manhattan. It's called New York County. And Staten Island is not called Staten Island. It's called Richmond County. There are people in Staten Island who don't know that. Yeah, we have to go through this stuff. It is horribly. So yes, they do fight sometimes like there's no tomorrow. It is very difficult. So I know some of you are saying, Larry, I like you, but I didn't come here for you. I came here because a bunch of cool people were going to come on. Not like you. Yes, you're right. There are some cool people, and I'm going to bring them on. In fact, I got a guy. I'm using my magic powers. I'm going to bring him in. He is a guy who is very funny. Well, sometimes funny. But no, he's funny. I've known him for many years. He's been an MC. He's been a comedian. He's great at what he does. And he has a way, what I'm going to give him credit for. Not much, but a little bit of credit for. He's actually able to make serious issues very funny and amusing that you actually want to watch and hear what he has to say. That is the man himself, Lou Perez.
Lou, Larry, thank you for having me, man. You always give the warmest or most lukewarmest introductions.
It's more accurate.
There's always a backhand. There's always a backhand with Larry.
It's true. It's true. Yes. But I got to tell you something. Yeah. I am very impressed with your new book coming out. Hold on. That joke isn't funny anymore. Did I get it right?
Yeah, you got it right.
Yes, that joke isn't funny. It's coming up. What? It's pre-order now, right?
Yeah, you could pre-order it now.
Hold on. Let me see if I can find it real fast. It is on Amazon.
It is.
So if you guys want to see it, hold on. I will be good and I will show you. That is it right there.
There we go.
That joke isn't funny anymore. Right there.
Yeah.
On the death and rebirth of comedy.
That's right.
Now, I picked up something right away because of my age. Because of my age, and some of you may not know this. If you look at that picture right there, the picture he put there, it says he has a helmet on. It says "Comedy is Murder." That actually is the album cover for "Meat is Murder" for the Smiths, 1985. Am I right?
That is 100% correct. It's my ode to one of my favorite bands of all time, the Smiths, and when I was putting the cover together, I actually found out that they took that still from a documentary called, I believe it was The Year of the Pig.
Yep.
Which is a Vietnam era documentary.
Absolutely.
And yeah, for anybody out there who's a Smiths fan, there's a lot, there's so much depth to them. We could probably geek out about the Smiths.
100%. No, Morrissey was like asexual before it was cool.
I don't know if asexuality is cool.
Before it was the thing. How about that?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's cool either.
He has a magnetism about him.
Yes.
If you watch like old old concerts and stuff, he'll be up there singing, and he does like this. He has this way of singing where sometimes it sounds like he's gargling, like he does that.
Yes,
and then and then you have all these like young kids, like twinks, sort of.
Yes.
When I say kids, I mean like teenagers and stuff like
that.
Jumping up on stage, hugging him, tearing his clothes apart, and throwing flowers at him.
Yes.
And you know what? I mean, I could see myself doing that. If I'm a little older now, so I'm not able to probably hoist myself up onto a stage.
Well, you could probably still throw like flowers and stuff. It's fine.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
So Scott says, most people laugh when I say I'm asexual. Maybe it isn't cool.
I don't know. Or maybe the way Scott's doing it, it's just like a funny thing, like there's some people who, they have fetishes and you're like, that's a little goofy.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
And it's worth something to laugh at. Yeah. I gotta say something, Larry, before we go on.
Hold on. Brock says a Latino guy likes the Smiths. That's crazy.
And with the sarcasm there. Yeah. For some reason, in California, like Chicanos love Morrissey. He's got a huge coalition of little militias of Mexican Americans that absolutely love him. And I think I haven't kept up on all of his independent albums, but some years ago he had a song called like "First of the Gang." It's like who was it? Was it Hector? I forget who he's singing about, but Hector, or maybe Luis, which is my
Luis.
Well, was the first of the gang to die. So yeah,
I cut you off. Go ahead. What you?
I was going to say, when I saw Celebrity Larry-thon, I actually read it as Larry-thon, and I thought I was getting into something a little different. I thought this is like, Larry's going for it. He's starting his OnlyFans, and you're just going to see like, what his glutes have been up to.
Look, if that's what it takes, I'm just saying, I got to fight the state, and if it takes me getting the thong to fight the state, I'm in. Right? I'm in. I got to do what I got to do here. That's all I'm saying. You and I on the same page here. We got to do what we got to do. You're doing a cool book.
You got to cross the T's, dot the I's, and make sure that thong is riding up high. That's
absolutely
it.
Yes. But I want to bring up something, if I could. I think your book is something important, and I don't know if you happen to see the pandemic special that South Park did. Did you happen to see that one?
I don't think I did. No.
They did a special to where the kids are now like 30 years in the future, right? And that's when they finally end the lockdowns, like 30 years later, right? And they come out of the lockdowns, right? And when they do it now, if you remember, do you watch South Park at all? Do you know any of the characters?
Oh yeah. I think I haven't seen the last 2 seasons.
No worries, as long as you know the characters.
Yeah.
One of the characters is named Jimmy, and he's a comedian. Right?
Oh, Jimmy's the best. He's got the crutches.
Bingo. Yes. So great. In the future, he's a talk show host, a late night talk show host. So he gets up and he starts to tell a joke, and his jokes. This is his jokes. So I'm paraphrasing. So a Puerto Rican and a Mexican guy and a gay guy walk into a bar, and nothing happens at all. All of those people are very good human beings. That's the joke.
Right.
Like, you can't say anything negative, so the joke just becomes everybody's awesome, no matter what. So he'll say like 3 or 4 specific groups of people and then end it with, and they're totally valid and awesome. That's how he ends every joke.
I think I might be. Am I going that way? Is that? Do you think that might be the way for my career to go?
That's what I'm asking about your book. Tell me, is the book like that or no?
Oh, no. Actually, I think in spite of the the ode to the Smiths album cover and the title on the death, there's also the rebirth of comedy, and I think my book, for anybody out there, if you've taken too many red pills, you might not think that things are going too well.
Yeah.
You
I
might be
am
black
worried,
pilled
man. This
on
is
that.
true. So
Yeah.
you're telling me there's hope and that comedy's coming back. Is that what you're telling
I
me or
think,
no?
yeah, I think so for sure. I mean, before I came on, I was listening to you talk about, being shadow banned and the like, and totally unfortunate. Like, I've said this before. Anytime I bring up Larry, I always talk about Larry was the first person who ever earned my vote when I voted for him for governor.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you. Sincerely, and sharing the stage with you, and getting to be a part of the movement and what you're doing it really meant a lot to me. So when I hear things like being shadow banned, I'm very that upsets me. On the other side of that, though, I look and I say, we're still here, we're still talking, and there's a way for you to get your message out,
right?
And people who care are able to support you and to support your work. And I think that's one of the big that's probably one of the big white pill moments for me doing comedy, is that there are people out there who are hungry for comedy, that they're hungry. There's an audience out there, and like never before, we're able to reach that audience. And I think that's what's going to save us, is the ability of connecting on a real level, whether it's live in person or over the airways or the internet. It's possible there, and we just got to keep doing it and keep fostering that relationship. I think there's never been more important of relationships between entertainers and their audience.
Well, it's funny you say that. A long time ago, a friend of mine told me, he said, Larry, the new movie stars are political people, are politicians and such. And I said, I don't understand what you mean. He said, back in the day, the movie star was the person who crossed over everything. They would be in a magazine, they'd be in a movie, they'd be in a TV, talk show, they'd be in everything, right? But now with fractured media, if you're a TV guy, you may only be in certain small TV things. You may have your own like locals, like I know you're on Locals. You may only have a locals thing, or you might have an OnlyFans, right? When I get my thong thing going on, right? You may only have that. And he says, but politicians cross over all of them. And I feel like politicians, I mean, look, Dr. Oz is going to be the Republican senatorial candidate in Pennsylvania. I feel like popularity, and it's almost like they're just stars. Even Justin Amash said, if I'm going to paraphrase him, he said when he was in Congress, his only real ability was to be able to tweet and talk and say things. And now he's not in Congress. He has the same ability, right? He's still popular and it hasn't changed. I mean, I don't know. Am I reinforcing your point, or am I somehow going against it?
Well, I think, I think that situation sort of lends itself to to comedy and the point in history that we're at, where it's sort of like, these people that at one point in history were held up as sort of these, you have to look up to these heroes. They are heroes, and they know what's best. And I'm sure they, whatever they're doing, it's with the best of intentions, and they care about us and all that. And, the celebrity nature of it, and, and oftentimes the grift of it, just really shows who they are. And it's like, well, these people are no more worthy of respect, and perhaps are even, worthy of disrespect than your fellow citizens. And I think that's a good thing. It's sort of, in my book, I talk about, the whole idea of punching up versus punching down. And, and I'm of the mind that, there is no hard rule about you must punch up, or, for many reasons. But, if we are playing, along that, going along with that formula, I mean, there is no more, higher that you can punch than the president of the United States, or your governor, or, the people on late night telling you, what to think, and whether or not you're a good person for thinking what you think. So I think that's, that's another example of, okay, there's a future here that I think, especially like you mentioned, like creators with perhaps a smaller audience base, it's possible if you had, 10,000 people, just 10,000 people who love your work and support you every month, that you could be making a really good living. by doing that, so that's very cool.
No, I remember someone told me in the entertainment industry, they said it is harder than ever. Excuse me. It's harder than ever to become a star, but easier than ever to be a working artist. It's difficult to become that superstar. And this person told me harder than ever to become the super duper star. However, there's a lot of people, to your point, who are making a living as being some form of artist, whether they're a musician, whether they're a comedian, a writer. They're making a living as an artist because they have those 10,000 people who are prepared to give them money every year, every month, or buy their book or whatever, subscribe to their Substack or whatever is the issue. I think you're totally right. And this is something that people aren't getting. What is bothering me, and this is a little bit off topic, but I think you brought up something that's important. The systems that we have in place now are systems from an industrial age. The industrial age is over. We're now in an age where people are doing many different things in many different ways. So now we're much more worried about value that we give to our audience or to our customer. And we look often even as customers as our bosses, our customers as our actual customers, sometimes our coworkers. It's the idea of how do we service a customer? And when I say customer, I don't necessarily mean just someone who gives money to me, but it could be anybody, right? And I think this is a more important piece, and it's the future. But the people who don't see that, sadly, are mostly government employees who are still often stuck in my hour for labor is what matters versus what value am I bringing to whomever is watching or accepting whatever I'm giving.
Yeah. And we definitely saw that, during, I don't know which words to use so that you don't get this, removed from whatever platforms you're streaming on. But during the lockdowns where you had people determining what was essential work versus non-essential work.
Yep.
Right. And you're talking about livelihoods here that were, decided by, by some bureaucrat. And I think it's like those times when all the government shutdowns happen, and we're a week into the government shutdowns, or we're 2 weeks into it, and nothing's really changed. Everything's just kind of going along the way it's supposed to go, and you start thinking oh, maybe we actually don't need those people in those positions of authority there. And I think there are a lot of people who feel entitled, especially when when they're working for the state.
Yes,
for sure. And thinking that, everything must be done in order to preserve their position.
Well, that's what bothered me. I have two parts that bother me here. I'm sorry, we're not telling jokes. Is it okay, Lou?
No, I haven't seen you in a while. So
okay, good. All right. So telling jokes. I don't want to make people mad. Lou's going to tell some jokes. If you want to tell some jokes, you can. But what you brought up is important because what the government decided who was essential and who wasn't. And what's funny is the vast majority of essential workers were government workers.
Mm-hmm.
And that bothers me. I'm not against government workers. Any job that pays your bills is an essential job. I don't care if it's a government job, private job, you work for yourself, doesn't matter. If that job pays your bills, that's essential. So the point is they decided that essential was government. And I'll go one step further. When the money was coming in from the federal government, when Uncle Joe was writing checks and Trump was writing checks, all the checks that were coming out, the checks didn't go directly to the people. They said we have to write a check so we can fund the police department and fund the fire department. People thought, that makes sense. No, that's dumb. Give the money to the people, then they'll pay taxes, which funds the police department and the fire department. We just gave money directly to the cops and to the firemen, not to the people who would have spent the money, kept going, and then funded the police department and the fire department. It made no sense to me at all.
Yeah, when you do those numbers and you're like, wait, how many? There's 300 plus million people, and how much was that bailout and all that? It's like, well, why don't you? Yeah, just, I mean, if you're gonna do it, cut a check. Okay, here you go. Here's your check in the mail, and then be done with
look, clearly I'm not for bailouts. Clearly
right,
I'm not.
Right.
But if you're gonna bail people out, just write people a check. Don't decide against my crony, your crony, this guy, that guy. No. If you're going to say, hey, we're writing a check, we're bailing people out. Fine. I get it. Just say how much money you're doing it. Divide it by X number of adult Americans. There's your check. spend it, please, and pay your taxes or whatever you're doing and keep the economy going so we can pay for other stuff. At least if you're going to do it, that's the way to do it, right? Or don't do it. But if you're going to do it, at least you get rid of the middleman. It drives me crazy. It just made government even more valid, even more important than anything else. Mm-hmm. Right. So I do have a question still with you, though. Craig says, what's on Lou's bookshelf?
Oh, do you want me to read all of them?
No, not all of them. Just the interesting ones.
Just the interesting ones.
Yes.
Let's see. This is like my years of literacy.
Okay.
So these are all the books that I've read. There are other. Let's see. There are books over here that I haven't. Oh no! Why did I do that?
I don't know why I did that.
My thing just.
See, I know why you did that, because now you're gonna fake some books in there.
Yeah, so I got all really Shakespeare.
Yes, exactly. You're gonna pull out all the Winnie the Pooh books, and
let me see what I can do.
You're gonna pull all the Winnie the Pooh books out and put in Shakespeare and Edgar Allan Poe. That's what you're doing. I know. I got you.
There we go. Let's see. This is well. Look, I already messed this up. So my apologies. I know we only have a few more minutes, but
no worries.
Let's see. I got some Hemingway up there.
Totally lying.
I have a book. Where is it? The Appeal of Fascism. That's actually up there, which I'm sure a lot of people will read into that. And then also a novel. What's it? A Long Journey into Night by Céline, who is actually a French fascist. So look at that.
It's not looking good for you right now, Luke.
It is not looking good for me.
It's not looking good for you. No.
I'm like, oh man, where's my Henry Hazlitt?
Yeah, where's the Bastiat? I don't. Yeah,
I got the law somewhere over here. Okay. Oh, and then I have. Let's see. I have Anarchy in the Law over somewhere else. Man, I can't believe that my camera went out. This is insane. Wait, there we go.
You're back.
We're back again.
Yes. Okay.
We're back.
So now you got to stop lying.
That's right. I got to stop lying.
Exactly. Yes.
I recommend. I'm a big fan of. Let's see. This guy, T.C. Boyle. He's a novelist, fiction writer, incredible short story writer. I would highly recommend people dip into that. I haven't been reading as much as I would like to have been reading. Partly because I spent a lot of time writing a book, and then the other part of the time is like, as you know, Larry can attest to, when you have kids.
Yes.
A lot of time is spent, with your kids and not with your nose in a book. So.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. So, Gene says, government decided that my husband is inessential. He's essential to me.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. And
I love the nails too, Gene. I don't know who did your nails, but in your picture, you got nice. You got the nice ANCAP there.
There we go. She's not playing.
Yellow and black. That's awesome.
Yep. See, we got hardcore people here. You thought we were playing around, Lou. We're not. We're serious.
Yeah. And Larry, there's something too. I think one of the I had Spike Cohen on my podcast. Has Spike been on yet, or is he coming on later?
Nope, he's coming on.
Great. Spike is awesome. I've had Spike on my podcast. I want to get Larry on soon. And one of the things that I told Spike, and I brought you up as well, is I think you guys do a really wonderful job humanizing liberty and humanizing the liberty movement, because I think that is so essential, because quite frankly, I'm tired of the the bullshit stereotypes of, oh, you're a libertarian because you're selfish, or you're a libertarian because you just care about one guy I saw years ago, he said militant individualism.
Oh,
I don't even know what that means.
I don't know what that means either.
But
that sounds terrible, doesn't it?
Yeah. It sounds
horrible.
But yeah, some of the most wonderful people I know, I've met, have been in the liberty movement.
Yes.
Larry, you have a book out too about
coming soon. Not yet. I put out the first 5 chapters. Nobody seemed to respond, so I said maybe I need to rewrite this thing.
Well, you gave me a small clip.
I gave the first 5 chapters. You didn't respond at all.
Oh, well, I was reading it the whole time. I was reading it, I was thinking like, wow, this would be an amazing book for especially like a young kid, like a young adult.
I wish somebody had told me that. Nobody responded to me. So
Yes.
So I'm rewriting the entire thing because people didn't respond. I gave out the first 4 chapters up to about 200 people, and I got virtually no responses whatsoever. Like, no one said it was good, bad, nothing. And I said, okay, I'm not moving people. And if I'm not moving people, then I better rewrite this thing because I wanted to move people. I didn't want to do something.
Well, I should. Well, then I should have. I should have gotten in touch with you a lot sooner, because when I read it, for one, I was like, your life story is incredible, and also where you open this. Not to give anything away, but there was a point in Larry's life when things were looking so down.
Yep.
That he went out onto the ledge of his office building and was ready to destroy himself. And
I opened the book.
Yeah, it's a very powerful
know that I had contemplated suicide.
It's a very powerful opening. I think not only because you're a friend, but also I don't know, as I've gotten older and looking back on life, I just think of just how precious life is, and how many people like yourself that contemplated that at a much younger age, and you look back, you're like, oh my God, man, thank God he didn't go through with it, because there was so much life to live.
The reason why I opened it that way, just to be forward with anybody who may be watching, is to do something that I do constantly, which is I try to share my humanity. Right. I want people to know that I accept that I'm just a man, just a person like anybody else. I bleed, I get sad, I get angry, I make mistakes like anybody else, like you do, like I do. So I thought, if someone's going to write a book on happiness, why would someone read the book if I'm going to act like I know everything and I've always been happy and I'm so awesome? And I wanted to write a book saying, no, I've been at the bottom. If you've been at the bottom in your life, I've been at the bottom, to where I thought it wasn't worth living anymore. And to pull myself from that, I wanted to show people that it can be done, that I'm not on high saying how great things are. I'm saying life sometimes really sucks. Like sometimes it's really bad. And it's not the right answer to just go, don't worry, you'll be fine. Nobody wants to hear that when they think the world's ending, which is why I push back so hard on all the times I see people committing suicide and hurting themselves, because I know where that is. I know how you feel when that time comes. So thank you for that. Maybe I'll reconsider, because
no, I would. I definitely would. Yeah, I like I said, you have a very powerful story, and also, as you're running for governor as well, it's like, look at the people who've sat in that, in that position. They've been, very privileged people who, and not to say that people don't go through stuff, but
sure,
I really feel like your own life mirrors sort of the kind of position that the city is, that the state is currently in as well, where there's the way that you were able to find hope for yourself, and hope and responsibility, and pushing and working towards something. I think that you also see that for the state of New York, where a lot of people have given up on it. And I have to say, I'm one of those people who gave up. I moved across to Jersey to start a new life. But I know you're not. That's not the type of person you are. You haven't given up.
I'm stupid. I'm fighting still. Yes, I'm stupid. I'm still fighting. So Lou, I want to say thank you. And guys, follow Lou on the Lou Perez on Twitter, and you can see all his cool stuff there. You can check out his book on Amazon. And I showed you the name of the book is That Joke Isn't Funny Anymore. Did I get it right?
Yep, you got it right.
That's the name of the book. Check him out. See what he's doing. He's great at what he does. And I'm going to give a little plug for him. If you're doing an event and you need an MC, he's a really good MC. Like, I've seen him do it before. If you need an MC, he's a real good MC. So pick him, get him, write him a check he wants, whatever amount he says he's worth it. He'll do it. I know it. He'll make people laugh. He'll be cool. It's worth it. He's a really good MC. So please take care of all those things. Lou, thank you so much for coming, my friend.
Larry, thank you. It's always a pleasure. It's an honor to be your friend. Thank you.
All righty. Good talking to you, my friend. Yes, indeed. That was the Lou Perez. You thought there was a different one. No, I got the one. That's the one who was here. Absolutely him. Check him out. You can see his stuff on Twitter to see what he's doing. That's awesome. I appreciated him coming up. And of course, please like, comment, and share. Why do I keep showing people like him and others this evening? Because I want you to know that it isn't just me running. This is literally a coalition of people getting together to make change. That's what I want. I want to make change. I'm trying my best to make change. Jennifer's teasing me. She says, Larry-thon coming July 2022, $25 minimum to join. Well, yeah. Whatever it takes, Jennifer, we got to make change, right? We're fighting the state. We're fighting the state. You guys really like that thong joke. David says, I'd like to bring something up if I could, rather than a G-string up the old sharp crack. The sharp crack, that's a good one. I remember that one. Also very good. James is like, a thong to win is cheap as hell. You're not wrong. What have you been wasting your money on? You know what? I'm wasting my time on things like polling and advertisements when I should be buying thongs. You're right. This place is better. This is better than I thought. I loved it. That's awesome. So, yes. Rebecca says, I donated $100. I bleed too. Thank you, Rebecca. And something else Rebecca does. Rebecca's out there when I do events. And guys, I really appreciate when you donate. Please donate. It does matter. $100 is what I'm looking for. If you're a heavy hitter and you can do $1,000, I'd like that. Absolutely, I would if you can do that. Please, if you can do $1,000, that's the answer. I'll take $100 though. It's fine. I'll take $10. Whatever you can give is awesome. Showing up also matters. If you're in a spot where you say, Larry, I love you. I can't give you $100. I'm just not there. Okay. The next time I do an event, can you show up? Can you get somebody to go in with some gas money? I know gas is a lot of money right now. Some gas money and sit in a chair when I do an event and smile and clap and act like I'm saying something funny. That actually works. You might say, Larry, why does that work? Because when more people show up to events, people realize something's happening. They realize this is a movement. So showing up matters. Rebecca, thank you so much because you show up. Thank you for your donation. That's amazing. And you show up. That's the best. If you can give and show up, life is awesome. If you can only do one, I'll take either of those. Showing up matters. If you can't do any of those, if you are really in a tough spot, then just like, comment, and share. That matters too. All of these are ways of moving this forward and making things happen. All of them matter. So please, if you can, please do that. So yes, the volunteer says, yes, absolutely, Larry earned my vote. Thank you. Even if we lose, I like letting the establishment know. I did come to the voting booth and I still didn't vote for your establishment and what they spent. Yes, yes, and yes. We don't realize how important, and let me go one step further. Thank you for bringing this up. But Larry, what if you don't win? Okay, maybe I won't. Absolutely possible. Libertarians rarely win. True. But if I get enough of a vote to where they feel like I was a spoiler, that's a good thing. If they think I'm a spoiler, right to your point, voluntarist, that means that they realize they must do stuff that libertarians and people who are liberty-minded care about. I don't know about your state. I know my state. Let me tell you, in my state, Democrats are supposed to be about civil liberties. They're not, but they are supposed to be about it. That's what they say. They're not, but that's what they say. Well, if they realize that libertarians care about civil liberties, some of them will have to care about civil liberties or they'll lose the election. They don't care about you, but they care about the election. So having a stronger libertarian party, even if it loses, but it's strong, so that people realize people care about that, will make for better Democrats. Republicans in my state, they're supposed to be about the Second Amendment. They're supposed to be about small business and less taxes. They're not, but they're supposed to be. Well, wait a minute. If you actually have a libertarian party, that's for small business. That's for less taxes. That's for the Second Amendment. They will have to be that way, or they'll lose the election. Again, they don't care about you, but they care about the election. Having a stronger libertarian party will make for better Republicans and better Democrats. They'll still be crappy. They'll just be less crappy. And I will take that. That's change. Let's start moving towards that. Let's move towards a world where people see value in our values. Right now, they don't. If I get 15%, 10%, 20%, oh my God, you have to pay attention to what libertarians are talking about. You simply have to. There's no way around it. So even with the loss, we still win. You are correct. Thank you for thinking that way. Thank you so much. Stephen says, Larry's freaking awesome. Oh, thank you. His ideas are so fresh and realistic, not just, I'm going to do this. Yeah, vote for me. Yes. And here's what I would say to this. Some of you might say, well, Larry, again, you're not going to win. So actually, that's not necessarily true. But say you're right. Say you're right. Just imagine me getting a debate stage. giving actual answers and then having Democrats, Republicans sit there with their mouths open going, other guy bad. That's all they say. And I'll give you the perfect example, right? The perfect example we saw after Buffalo. This is true. After Buffalo, Democrats said, well, we have to fix ghost guns and we have to now have, microchipping the guns, whatever, all that micro engraving on guns. Everything that would help you find the guy or the gun after the shooting. In case you guys didn't realize this, every single mass shooter, they either kill themselves or die at the place, get captured at the place, or turn themselves in. They're 100% at finding these people. 100%. I don't know what the help you need. The Democrat answer was nothing. It was nothing. And the Republican answer was, I'm not joking, death penalty. The guys killed themselves. The death penalty is not going to help. They had no answer for the Buffalo shooting, except stuff that doesn't matter and death penalty. So as I keep saying, Democrats are the party of bad ideas. Republicans are the parties of no ideas. And this even happened. I gave an actual answer to make less people unhappy, particularly youngsters, young men, so they don't want to kill themselves. So if I start talking that way and saying what these mass shootings actually are public suicides, when I actually say that, they have to respond to that. This is why it matters. This is why I keep doing this. If you care about what I'm doing, then do me a favor, like, comment, and share. It does matter. And if you can give now to that right there, that spot right there. Click on that, LarryShow.com/June, or click that link right there and give what you can give. If you can give $100, give it. If you can give $1,000, give it. It is absolutely an investment, and you know where I'm going to spend the money on. You've seen me do it 1,000 times. But I told you before that I had magic powers, and that's how I brought in Lou Perez. Well, I have magic powers still. I'm going to bring in somebody else now. I'm going to bring in somebody who is also a comedian sometimes, and is pretty funny sometimes. But yeah, he can be. But he also, the coolest thing about him is he was actually a royal diplomatic envoy. That's the coolest thing about him that you did not know about the man himself, the one, the only, the mighty Andrew Heaton. How are you, sir?
I'm very well, Larry. Good to see you. And I'm going to push back a little bit. I think I'm always mildly funny. I don't think that I'm funny sometimes. I think it's just kind of like a base level pithy. Not laugh out loud funny. No one's claiming that, least of all me. No one's claiming I'm hilarious. Just mildly background funny at all times.
I am going to say something I probably shouldn't say publicly, but my wife would disagree. My wife loves your stuff.
Thank you.
She loves your stuff. She's like, that guy's great. He's got to do more top hat monocle stuff. She loves that stuff. She loves it. When I said you were going to be on, I said, I'm going to watch. So she's probably watching now.
Well, tell her I'm sorry I'm not wearing a monocle and top hat and all of that. It's about 100 degrees in Austin, Texas right now. So the fact that I'm wearing any clothes at all is a testament to my formality.
I like that. Look, if you want to strip, I'm okay. This is the internet. I don't mind.
That's true. Thank you.
You do you.
And as soon as I do an OnlyFans account, I will call you. We'll make it a joint fundraiser.
This is the funny thing. The last person talking was also discussing that. He said he thought it was a Larry-thon, not a Larry-thon, and that I should have an OnlyFans account. So this OnlyFans thing keeps coming up. I think
or just sell the merch. A Larry-thon sounds like a great investment.
The merch. Yes. I like that. I know what I'm doing after the election's over. I know what I'm doing next. It's all good. So I do want to bring up a couple things here, if I could.
Okay.
Your podcast, the political orphanage. Is that right?
Uh-huh.
Yes. You were just talking recently about ballot suppression.
Yes. In fact, with you.
And I am going through ballot suppression. Yes.
Yeah, this is I don't know how much of the tirade has already been covered, but if not, allow me to do it. And if so, allow me to double down on this.
Go ahead.
People are rightly angered when they learn about gerrymandering. They are rightly angered when they find out about voter suppression. These are two things that have happened throughout American history. Both parties have engaged in it. Right now, Republicans seem to have the upper hand with gerrymandering, but I think it's really just because they've got better computers. Both parties seem to engage in it. Neither of the parties ever talk about ballot suppression. That is something that they don't bring up, is they'll fight about these two things, even though they'll do it when they can. But they never bring up ballot suppression. And I'm not sure if the average person that's not part of party leadership of the two big parties is even aware that it's a problem.
I agree.
And like, because I think that, like, again, if you're looking at gerrymandering, you're right to get angry. That's politicians choosing their constituents rather than the other way around. Absolutely. But what we're having right now is we've got a rigged game where there are two parties that have agreed they don't want anybody else participating in it. And one of the, like, I don't mean to get conspiratorial here, but like,
no, please.
One of the things that they start, well, that sham democracies do is they create the illusion of democratic choice.
Yes.
Now we have two choices, which is better than one. I'll acknowledge that. I am certainly glad that I get to choose between two, right? So like North Korea had like 101% in one of their elections for one candidate, right? Like that the old commies used to do that.
That's good.
Where they would like there was a guy from you ought to look into this because I think you'd find him interesting. The former president of Turkmenistan, he built a golden statue of himself on a rotating platform so that his face always looked at the sun. He renamed two of the months after himself and his dad, and he won an election by like 103% or something because people were so enthusiastic that they came in from other countries, right? And it's only one candidate. There was nobody else participating. Same thing happened to Stalin. So that's one candidate with no choice isn't real democracy, right?
100%. Yep.
But if it's only two candidates and there's actually more options than that, then it seems to me we're still overlapping with that mindset to some extent. What the thing that they do in Russia right now, and I'm not a Russian expert by any means, but Vladimir Putin basically outlawed any competitive parties. So there's the Russia First or Russia United Party, which is his preferred party. He's an independent, of course, but he does have a preference. But he outlawed all of the actual competitive parties, which might make competitive democracy possible. And instead, what he had happened was, after banning the competitive parties, he allowed two or three very tiny, no one's going to take these seriously rump parties to participate, so that when you go to the polls, you can theoretically throw your vote away, or you can vote for the one party rule. And those are your options, right?
Right. Yes.
And again, we're better than our government's better than Russia. I'm not claiming we're morally equate, but how about this? Why don't we be even better than Russia? Why don't we live up to the ideals and values of our country? Why don't we do this? This is a crazy idea. Why don't we try to be actually democratic and say that having lots of choices and voters being able to participate is a good thing? We believe in that. And if we have a problem with gerrymandering and voter suppression, we should also have a problem with ballot suppression, which is something my dear friend Larry is having to put up with. And it's a sham and a travesty.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. Yes, absolutely. It drives me crazy. I just mentioned I had to drop about $300,000 to get on the ballot. Now, so imagine you have to be able to raise that kind of money.
Yeah.
And that just got me on the ballot. That's not one ad. That's not one Facebook ad. That's not one poll. That's not signs. That's not t-shirts. That's just so I can be on a ballot. That's it. It's insane. They're making a system to where only the elite can run. Yeah. Right. The data point I bring up, which is important. Last time when I ran, 5 people were running. I was the only one not getting a government check. Everyone else was.
Yeah.
Everyone else, a taxpayer, was somehow paying those people to run. Now I'll be running. I'll be the only guy not getting a government check.
Yeah.
Again, the only one. Everyone else is literally someone who's been in government for years getting a government check. That is our current system in New York. And I would argue one step further. Officially, we have a two-party system in New York. We don't even have that because we are 3-1 Democrat to Republican in the statewide election. A Republican hasn't won an election in New York State, statewide election. Locally, Republicans win. But statewide election in 20 years, nothing. Not senator, not governor, not AG, zip. Nothing in 20 years. And that's going to keep going coming up here this next year.
Out of curiosity, since the Democrats are in power in New York State, do they gerrymander like crazy?
They tried to. Okay. Oh, they couldn't though, right? This is what actually happened. The thing that most people don't know about New York State is many parts of upstate New York are actually very red, deep red.
Right.
New York has a lot of farmland, rural areas. It's not actually upstate versus downstate. People say that's not actually true. It's rural versus urban.
Okay.
All of the cities upstate New York,
just like, by the way, everywhere else in America. That is we don't have red states and blue states. We have red counties and blue cities.
Correct. Yes. And that's what we have in New York. Same thing. Buffalo votes blue. Syracuse votes blue. Rochester votes blue. Ithaca votes blue. All the cities upstate New York all vote blue. But the counties, they don't. They usually vote red. So the Democrats actually tried, because we New York is so broken, we've lost a congressperson.
Mhm.
So now we're down from 27 to 26. So we decided to re-gerrymander all of the congressional districts. I got to give it to the Democrats. They really tried hard.
Yeah.
They were like, we're going to gerrymander this to make sure there's like 2 Republicans in the entire state. But it was so blatantly obvious.
Because it turns out Republicans and Democrats tend to bitch about stuff when they're out of power. When
Yes.
they're in power, they do whatever they're mad about.
That's correct. Yes. So it happens that some judge actually said, look, I can't even do this. Like, no, like I'm part of the establishment and I was put in place by Cuomo and I can't accept it. This is so blatant that I can't sleep at night by saying yes. So a judge said no, and they redid it with a neutral party. The Democrats actually are losing seats.
Nice. Well, aren't
So
they?
it
They're pitting
backfired on them.
Maloney against, I can't remember the other guy.
Correct.
But like, and I was like, eat each other. Like I'm looking forward to that, because it's 2 old establishment Democrats with built-up machines. They're gonna have to fight.
That's
tooth and
exactly
nail
right.
over that district.
Yes. So you are, I'm surprised people know who you are here. You are awesome. People are yelling things like Heaton.
Oh, I know her. Hello, Rebecca.
There we go. Yes, absolutely. So that's kind of cool. I like that.
Wait, hold on. I have an idea. I want to float by you. Now, this would never, ever happen.
Okay.
But if theoretically there were a ballot that was going to be passed by the states and Congress in New York, and it was to split New York City, Long Island, and Staten Island into a new state,
Yep.
and leave the rest of New York State as New York State, would you be in favor of that?
No, because the problem with that is it still keeps the same concept, which is one city controls the entire state. I want localism, right? I want people to not care what the other people do, right? If you live in Brooklyn, you probably love Brooklyn. People have told me Brooklyn's a blood type, right? And I'm glad you love Brooklyn. Please, Brooklyn's a great place. Let's live in Brooklyn. Awesome. Good for you. So you do what you want to do in Brooklyn, and let people in Wyoming County or Allegheny County, which are basically farmland counties, let them do what they want to do. And if the city isn't controlling the country and the country's not controlling the city, then nobody cares. That's what I want. I want people to be happy in the local communities. The reason why people in upstate get mad at downstate, they think, you guys are controlling us. Well, they're right. Through money, New York City controls Albany, and Albany controls the rest of the state. That's accurate. Well, I would like Albany to not control the rest of the state. In which case, then no one else cares. They just go, oh, the city's great. When I want to go into the city and watch a Yankee game, or I want to go to Broadway, or I want to go enjoy something cool, I'll go into the city, enjoy something cool, and I'll go back to where I want to live. That's what our state should be. It's not. So I'm about localism, and it doesn't matter. Because even if what you said works, what happens when New York City controls Suffolk County out in Long Island? Well, they don't want to be controlled by New York City either. So I still got unhappy people. And what happens when the cities in upstate New York begin to outweigh the rest of the counties? Well, then they have the same problem again, don't they? So no, I want to change the entire system. Localism is the answer. If we have more of that, we'll be happier. Localism is not the perfect solution. It's just a better solution. You will still have local tyrants because you'll still have them. That will still happen. But the state's job should be not to protect the state, but to protect the individual from local bullies. You should be able to go to the state and go, hey, local guy is trying to take my land or make me feel bad or get me arrested or frame my kid or whatever local bad guy's trying to do. And then state goes, wait a minute, let me check in. Wait, that's not how that works. You can't do that. That's a bad idea. That kind of happened after segregation was ended in the South. The federal government kind of came in and protected the individual from the state. And then the federal government said, oh, now that we're here, we just want to control everything. That was the problem. The slippery slope is the problem, right? But if the state's job is to defend the individual against the local bully, we're going to have a much better state. A much better state. We don't have that now. Most of our money goes to Albany, then Albany decides where the money goes, and it controls people through money. It is not a good system at all. So that's why I would say no to that answer. I'd rather just change the entire system.
Sure, fair enough.
That's my issue.
Yeah, it's weird too. One of the other things going on right now is, there's this huge populist upswell we're seeing in both of the two major parties. Trump was exonifying that in the Republican Party.
Bernie was.
Huh?
Bernie was in Democrat. Bernie
was in the Democratic Party. I think AOC is kind of taking that mantle. And it's interesting that the populists that are funneling into these are going, the system's corrupt. We got to flush it out. By going into these two major parties that have been running it for the last 100 years. That's the way to do it.
Yes.
And they always have the same conversation where they'll be getting towards election day, and then the party sits down and they're like, listen, you've got some really good points. We're going to take that into consideration. We are. Of
course we are.
But here's the thing. At the end of the day, it's between us and the bad guys. And like we've got more in common with you than the bad guys do. So like, listen, just this time, next time we'll talk about this. But right now, just this time, you got to pick the lesser of two evils, and that's us, okay? And it's the same game every single election. It happens every single time. And why would you expect there to be a massive outsider change the system if you keep playing into that?
Why don't we ask Andrew Yang how he feels about that?
Yeah.
Why don't we ask Tulsi Gabbard how she feels about that, both on the Democratic side? Why don't we ask Justin Amash how he feels about that? Or even Ron Paul, how he feels about that.
Or, not, I don't think there's like a firebrand centrist. I might be the closest thing now that I think about it. There's not really a firebrand centrist, but kind of the two persuasions that I tend to find when I talk to people, almost everybody I know that's not a lockstep partisan wishes there were a vibrant, viable third party option.
Yes.
And it tends to either be some form of libertarianism, or it tends to be some kind of like moderate, I think the Republicans and Democrats have gone too far in both directions and they're crazy and I don't want to be a part of them. I think you could make a good case that if they're just right now, if you happen to coax out of nothing a new system where there's the conservative party, the progressive party, and the moderate party, or the middle party, whatever you call that, it would do very well. But it's not going to happen because they're not going to let it happen. The system has been rigged to force everybody to pick one of two options. And the primaries that take place in most states between those within the party, and the parties operate as quasi governments. It's a private institution. Like by my lights, doing open primaries would make a lot more sense.
Yes,
where
absolutely.
And if the Democratic Party's like, we selected this guy and voters don't want him, then okay, fine. But have multiple options, have ways to get in there. I mean, it's weird. It really is not possible, I think, at this point within current law to really have like we had in the 1880s, where the Whig Party died out and the Republican Party came out of the embers and was an abolitionist party. I have a hard time seeing that happening right now.
Well, the problem is once Ross Perot did his thing,
they
were like, whoa, change the laws.
Yeah, we were okay with this when it was cute and ornamental. We're not okay with this where he's getting electoral votes. That's messing with the system.
Yes. So Ross Perot was the end, right? Once he did that, they were like, okay, let's now set up rules to make sure we can never have a Ross Perot again. Mm-hmm. And they did. They've been very good that way. So yes, you're totally correct.
Yeah.
So Paula says we should refrain from nudity. A Cuomo may show up and flash. So we don't want Cuomos to come up.
Good point. I'll shower in shorts the rest of the week to avoid that fate.
Good idea.
They're both of the Cuomo brothers are just bumbling around right now, right? I have no idea what
they
are
might
they doing
be watching. They have nothing to do.
They might be here in Austin, Texas, just looking to get naked with me.
They might be on your butt. That door, the door might all of a sudden open up behind you, and a Cuomo might pop out. That's a thing.
That's true.
That could happen.
I will say, if somebody said, "Do you want to go to a steam room with the Cuomo brothers?" As long as I knew I could get out, I would be curious just for the sheer novelty of it. But all the same, yeah.
I'm not sure I would agree with you on that one. I think I might run, but that's just me. I don't know. Yeah. Christine says she'd wear a Larry-thon.
Nice.
I think this is working.
Yeah. The merch angle's a good angle.
It is, absolutely. So Stitz4 says, Larry Sharp, tell Heaton my dog hates LA as much as he does. He shredded Heaton's book of poems.
Oh, so your dog hates LA so much that the dog ruined a book because it talked about LA. I respect that dog.
There we go. Yes.
Did I tell you I got a dog, Larry? Hold on.
No.
Look at this. Let's see. Hey,
Wallace.
Wallace.
There we go. There's the pooch.
Hi, nice. Wallace. He's tired right now because we've been out in 100-degree heat. But
Yes.
Wallace's new toy this week is a tire. He found a tire, and that is his new favorite toy because he has a lot of upper body strength and energy, and he'll just kind of like pull it across the yard. And I'm like, I don't know how dogs work. This sounds like a good deal to me. For a while, he was getting into my tools. Like he was chewing up my hammer. I got mad, then I thought about it, and I was like, how much do hammers cost? I think they're like $6. Like, this is actually cheaper than the crap I'm buying this dog.
That's exactly right.
The hammer. Take it.
Give him the tire. Good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Oh, good. Absolutely. You have another fan. Michael says, this is the guy that stars in PBS Libertarian.
That's true.
He's right.
This is one of my occasional funny moments on Reason. We did that. We did James Bond, I think after Libertarian PBS, and then we recently did Red versus Blue Disney.
So very nice.
We're putting them out every maybe 3 months, but I finally managed to convince the Bragg brothers to come down here to Austin to visit me. So I'm hopeful that we can kind of start doing it more regularly. I got them to scope out the local studios and things, so hopefully we'll do more.
So how are you liking Austin compared to Oklahoma?
It's great. I really like it. The only complaint I have is that Austin is much, much, much hotter.
Got it.
So there's like 27, 28 seasons in Austin, and I'd say 19 of them are really hot.
Got it.
And so my plan is I've got this nice camper outside. I think I'm going to go camping in Colorado next week to avoid the heat.
I like that.
And then I plan to go to Scotland for 3 months come July. And I figure if I knock out 3 months a year, I think I can live here. But I've been adapting reasonably well. But no, Austin's a super fun city. It's very social. It's very creative. There's lots of good food. It's a lot more human paced from my perspective than when I lived in New York. I think to live in New York City proper, you need to be super hot, super successful, or super young. Larry's all those things, but I'm only 1.5 of those things. So for me, I eventually kind of tapped out, and Austin seems like a good fit.
I like that. Well, look, Andrew, I want to say thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate the time, and people loved you, which is awesome. If you want to follow him, please follow Mighty Heaton. He is mighty indeed. Mighty Heaton on Twitter. You can see the things he's written, the books he's written, his podcasts, all types of cool things he's doing. You can go check out his old stuff on YouTube, which isn't that old, but there is some stuff that's old and funny. He's funny on that. He's true. It's true. Some of you guys remember that. So please do that. It does matter. Help him out to help me out. We're trying to move forward. Again, this is a coalition of people getting together, trying to make some change. Andrew, thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Bye, Larry.
Have a good one. Yes, that was the Mighty Heaton, the one and the only. So I'm very happy that some of you remember him and have seen him in the things that he's done. Again, why am I doing this? To show you this is more than just me. I'm asking you in this Larry-thon to support me in this Larry-thon. If you can give, now's the time to give, right? These are more people seeing what we're doing, talking about what we're talking about, making moves throughout the country, making stuff happen that matters for us. As you've heard me say 1,000 times, and I'll keep saying, what happens in New York State is going to come to your state. This is the battleground right here. More importantly, who else is out there talking about policy? Who else is out there making coalitions? Who else is getting mainstream people to hear us and to make us feel like we've got some success? Who else is white pilling people? It's us, this movement right here. It's important. If it matters to you, then one of two things. I'm asking you to do it. One of two things. One, get out there and like and comment and share. And do it again. Click a like button. Click a dislike button. I don't care. Put a star. Do something. Click something. Put a comment in. Share this in other groups that you know. Share this and go on Twitter and share this into other people's stuff. Share it. It does matter. They should be watching. It should matter. It does matter. It's how we get around the algorithms. It's important. If you can do that, please do that. And click that link. That's on YouTube. Click that link. That's on Facebook. Click that link and donate. If you can donate $100, please do it. It does matter. If you can donate $1,000, do it. I have donated far more than that to my own campaign. Let you know that. I've done that. So I'm not asking anything of you that I would not do myself, right? So I've already done that. I've already donated more than $1,000 to this campaign already, and more than $10,000 to my last campaign. I have put my money into this. I put my mouth into this. I put everything in. That does sound kind of sexy. Anyway, I put all parts of my body, to include thongs, into this. I'm not working now. I'm doing this. So for you guys who understand this, I live in New York City. I have a wife, 2 kids, My wife does not work. I am not working. You can imagine my bills. I am prepared to go into debt for this. Again, don't feel sorry for me. I knew what I was doing. I volunteered for this. I'm not asking for your pity. You can give it to me if you want to. I'll take it. I'm not asking for it. What I'm asking you to do is realize that I am putting myself into this because I believe it can make real impact. I did it once and punished myself. I'm doing it again and punish myself again. What I'm asking for you is to bleed with me. Don't bleed out. Don't give too much. You're going to put yourself in a spot where you're going to be in trouble. I don't want that. But give. If you can give $100, now is the time. Not later. Now is the time if you can give. $100 right now if you can. Click there, do it. If you can give $1,000, you're saying, Larry, are you crazy? Why would I give you $1,000? Because what you get for $1,000 is a future. That's what you get. I would ask you, who else is doing what I'm doing? If you know, please put in the chat because no one else is. It's me or nobody. It's me or nobody. You can give $1,000 to some Republican and Democrats and do the same stuff they've been doing for the past 20 years. That's up to you. If you want to, you can. Or some other candidate who's going to be there and go away. I've been here for 5 years straight. I've been doing this for 5 years straight. I've been building bridges and building coalitions for 5 years straight. That takes time, energy, and money. I'm putting my time, my energy, and my money into this. I'm asking you to do the same. Not as much. You didn't volunteer for this. I did. But I'm asking for something. I cannot tell you a better place. If you care about this movement, if you care about a better place, what you have to see, and I know you see it, you see that everyone around us is becoming angrier and angrier and divvying up even more and more and more and hating each other even more and more and more and politicizing every single thing more and more, left versus right, and that's it. You want to change that? I'm here. I'm here. $100 to change that. $1,000 if you have it. I put in more than that. Others have too. People have put in actually tens of thousands of dollars into this campaign. They had to. How else could I raise so much money to get on the ballot? People put in lots of money. There are individuals who put in tens of thousands of dollars into this campaign. Well, I'm asking you to do so. If you got the money, do it. It's an investment. You're going to see where it goes. It's public. You will see where it goes, right? You will see what I'm doing with it. You will know what I'm doing with it. I've got to move out so that people can see as we move forward. Right? People are asking me, Larry, when are you going to go out on Joe Rogan? When are you go back on Glenn Beck? Well, once I'm on the ballot, all of that stuff's happening. We're doing all those things, right? But then I have to follow it up with ads, with polls. I've got to follow it up with more or it doesn't hit. I learned my lessons in 2018, and I'm trying to improve myself from those lessons. This is what I'm talking about. So yes, things will get better. Things can get better, but we do need the input. If you can give, now is the time to give. Right now is the time to give to the best of your ability. If you can give $100, do so. If you can give more, do so. It does matter. Let me grab a couple, if I could, a couple of let's see, comments here. Michael says spandex shorts to say Larry Sharp on them. That's not a bad idea. I like that. Yes. David says, Larry, he puts the thong in Larry-thon. Keep coming. Look at me going. We're rocking and rolling. I love it. Yes, absolutely. So Jamie says, ballots are turned in. There was enough signatures. It's been challenged. It has. You're right. People are challenging me. I'm raising money for that too. I may have to get a lawyer to sit here and challenge and pay people. Yes, this is why I'm doing it. 100%. Thank you for that. Yes, absolutely. Nima says, you're investing. Yes. And look, a lot of people come out and say, my campaign matters. Give me money. I get it. A lot of them do it. They do. But those of you who know me, who've watched me, I've only run twice. That's it. I don't run just to run. I don't need a vanity run. I literally have a show with my name on it. I don't require a vanity run. I'm not doing it so Larry Sharp can be cool. I already have a show. I can be cool if I want on my own. I'm doing this because it will make impact. What you know is I never ask anything of you that I wouldn't do myself. I'm asking you to join in because I'm doing it so that we can make real impact. Last time we made real impact, if you remember, 2018, we got ballot access and we got our butt kicked. We did as best we could and we still got our butt kicked. And even with our butt kicked, what happened? I went out for the next 4 years and I supported other libertarian parties and other libertarian candidates. We got 107 victories in New York State in 2019. That's progress. That's real change. Everyone who put money into that campaign saw that. They look and said, I put money and there it is. I saw something happen. I put the money in and something happened. Yes, you're investing. And then the state said, we can't have that, and changed all the rules and threw us to the ballot. And now I'm fighting again for this. It's not because I want to spend $300,000 getting a ballot. That's not what I want to do. I have to. The state has forced me to do so. So I have to get even more money. And I'm up against even more money. Last time Republicans raised about $4 million, Democrats about 12. Now already the Republicans raised 10, the Democrat 20. I'm already up against it. And still I can make impact because I will be the only person on the ballot besides the top two people. That's it. Me and them. Me and them. Think about this. We make impact. I get all the pissed off votes. That's not a bad deal. Nima keeps going and says, we can win this. I think we can. It is possible, right? We have to keep doing this. We have to keep trying to the best of our ability, right? That's the issue. Michelle says, I will give money to someone who knows who the hell I am. I do know who you are, Michelle. I do. That's true. So I think that's true. I actually do walk around all the time and meet people. It's what I do. I'm out there meeting people. I try to be, and I think you see this, I try to be as human as I can be. I try to be as open as I can possibly be so that you know who I am. You know what you're getting. What you'll hear me say all the time is, I can have you angry at me. I can have you disagree with me. What I can't have is you not trust me. That's something I can't have. I've got to have you trust me or we can't do anything. So I'm going to say something else I've said before. I have magic powers. I told you that. And I can bring people in. I'm going to bring somebody else in. I'm bringing somebody else in who is in a similar way, someone who's very human, who has shared her personal journey more than once, who talks about where she's been and where she's going, someone who's I'm very happy part of the Liberty Movement, the one, the only, Jessica Vaughn. Jessica, how are you?
Hey. Ooh, I got to center up my camera. What's up?
There we
go.
go.
How's the fundraising going?
You got to move the opposite way. Keep going.
Ooh,
boom.
It's so hard. I don't know why.
You are there. You are there. All good.
Let me full screen this. How's the fundraising going?
It is going. We are pushing forward to the best of our ability, trying to raise enough money. We have a donor who will help us out, that if we're able to raise $10,000, they will match and do another 10,000.
Oh, nice.
So we'll raise 20K. That's the hope. We need more. We need money to, of course, fight if we get challenged for our petitions. And of course, money for advertisements and money for polling and all the things that matter in a big campaign. So yeah, that's what we're doing now. And I'm glad you're able to come by. How are you?
Well, I'm so good. I heard that you were advancing the Liberty Movement, so I had to, of course, come help you raise some money.
I appreciate that tremendously. Now, there's something I want to bring up about you, and this is if you don't mind sharing this. I know you were on Chrissy Mayer's show a while back, maybe 6 months ago or so, a year ago, something like that.
Yeah, isn't she great?
She's amazing. Love her to death. She's awesome. Absolutely. She when you were talking to her, she was asking you kind of about, how did you become more liberty minded, right? Or what you call yourself red pilled, right? How did you make that? You were more of a left leaning, more of a Democrat leaning person before, weren't you?
Yes, I was a down ballot blue voter my entire life. Grew up in a conservative state, but always felt like the outlier. Moved to LA, have lived here the last 10, 11 years now. Just was always a loyal, 2008 Obama type of, like, when I entered in my first vote,
Sure.
Yeah. And then the shutdowns came and it took a big hit out of my savings. Months went by, and of course they're like, oh, of course this is just temporary, and it ended up not being temporary in any kind of way. So that was my red pill initiation, I suppose. And then what happens from there is, of course, you just go down, I hate to call it a rabbit hole, but like you learn about these things and reason, you're listening to new voices because you're just trying to decode what's going on, what are they doing, how can I keep my business going if this is going to be the quote new normal, as Gavin Newsom called it. So
at that point, right? So you start seeing, wait a minute, what these people are saying isn't what's actually happening, right? What these people are saying isn't what is supposed to be happening. But then how do you move towards liberty versus just going, well, now I'm going to become a Republican and that's it. But you're a liberty Republican.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you're not just well, now I think Dick Cheney's awesome. That's not you.
Right. Well, just working in entertainment and, being a model, and there's a lot of conservative attitudes toward that type of thing, that you're just the problem with society. That's the attitude that I grew up with was, girls in Playboy are the problem because of this, or that. And of course, there's no undoing any of what's been done, and my identity is what it is, and my past is what it is. So liberty appealed to me because it gave me some freedom, and I was not somebody that was unable to listen to conservative voices, but there's an assault on conservative figures because of the fact that the Democrats own the media, right? So it was like I walked around with these attitudes like, oh well, I hate Ted Cruz, but no one really asked me, hey, have you ever thought about why you don't like Ted Cruz? So I was somebody that was able to deconstruct that and listen to some things that I was just tuning out before. But I think what somebody like yourself and libertarians and third parties in general have to offer to former Democrats that don't necessarily support the agenda that's being enacted right now, is the fact that you don't have any of those what I could call judgmental tendencies of traditional conservatism, asserting a lot of religious types of tendencies. And even though I am somebody that personally chose that, I can still understand why other people don't want to be ruled by the Bible and that type of thing. But at the same time, like there's so many people that are reformulating their ideas about what it means to be an American, and liberty isn't something. What happened when I first went off the edge when the shutdowns came and they started turning people's power and water off in my neighborhood?
Yes, I remember that. That was crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy, and it was right off the bat. So these people were ready. Like my mayor in LA was ready. He was just ready to go full authoritarian, and I never saw that at all in the people I was voting for. I didn't think, because I didn't have any of that. I didn't have any desire to emulate, and I had learned a few things of my own study. Joe Rogan had Jordan Peterson on, and that was really interesting, talking about totalitarian governments, because he's an expert at totalitarian government history, right? So I feel like I was prepared a little bit more than the average lifetime Democrat voter for that reason.
There we go.
Yeah.
You got somebody here. Adam says, former Bernie Democrat, how the media treated Trump and COVID changed that. So yeah, I think it's similar to what you're saying. COVID, I think, really was a piece that made Adam kind of switch too.
Yeah, for sure. When I didn't vote for Trump in 2016, I voted for Hillary, like most of the people like me, a loyal CNN listener, that type of thing, in the vortex of the normal narrative. And so I was as astonished as everybody when he got elected, because I thought that was an impossibility. But then I
think a lot of people
after
did.
the shutdowns, yes, but I ended up voting for Trump in 2016. I didn't even know.
You mean 2020?
2020. Sorry, yes. In 2016, I voted for Hillary, but then I got to have 3.5 years of realizing, oh, this wasn't that traumatic like everybody said. So I was like, oh, there might be some media exaggeration as far as like the problems with, other people that aren't just full blue, typical Democrats, right? So I had a little hint of that. And then when I saw, like, after the shutdowns, all the dishonest things that were happening from the left, I was like, well, this isn't really like intellectually honest. I was watching all of these things unfold. And so it sent me deeper into the idea that maybe the media wasn't really telling me everything that there was, and that maybe they had an agenda, and I hadn't really considered that.
But you went down one more hole, though, right? You have become like you've become someone who's like all about Bitcoin and crypto, and I didn't see that coming, right? I didn't see how does someone go there now? How did you get to that point? And libertarians love cryptocurrency, right? That's like our thing.
Yes.
So,
well, I bought Bitcoin as more as a non-violent political, because I watched all the money printing, right, from the Federal Reserve, and what I watched as and translated as a sort of economic protections from the way that the free market works. Right. And I thought they were covering up for bad policy using the Fed, which was something that I was told was supposed to be a non-political tool of not of government, but some oversight, this external force that was watching over us, looking out for us, right? Well, that ended up not being the case. It was a totally politicized extension of government, and that changed my mind about the because I've only been a Fed watcher for a little over 2 years now when the money printing started, and it was like, what is it, like 33% of all money that's ever been issued has been issued in the last like 2.5 years. Right. Okay, well, you're flooding the money supply. What does that mean? So then I go down that rabbit hole, and then of course, you hit the libertarians are very end Fed type people, and so but it was buying Bitcoin as a nonviolent political signal about I
like that.
The fact that so like what really hit me about why I needed to buy Bitcoin was money seemed so, I didn't know anything about money. It was just, you're born into the system and you're like,
most people don't.
Government money. Right.
Yeah.
Well, it was only from Bitcoin introducing me to some ideas that really made me understand how broken our financial system really is.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Pete, of course, yells, and the Fed, which is what we always say.
Yeah.
Right.
Woo, and the
absolutely.
Fed. Yes. Well, we
absolutely.
can, we can defund the system. And we can do that by buying Bitcoin. And I think we're going to enter into a recession where all global assets are going to come down. I don't want to use the C word crash, but I think all global assets are going to go down. That's what recessions are. And on the other side of recession, I think we'll see more nations adopt Bitcoin, which will send the price of Bitcoin much higher. So I'm looking forward to that.
So you're still bullish on Bitcoin?
Oh, absolutely.
There we go.
But I was somebody that bought it. I bought Bitcoin because I was so upset at the idea that people on fixed incomes, when you print 33% of the money supply, that you are diluting down the buying power of what these people, that they have no ability. These are retired people. These are fixed income for whatever reason. They can't compete with. They're not getting raises. So how can you do that by you printing all this money? It was just the wrong. So I decided when I got my free government check, I was like, okay, well, obviously I have to buy Bitcoin to help these people because
I like that.
So for me, it's like my initial investment wasn't. I don't have more in Bitcoin than I can afford to lose, which is obviously what you should responsibly be doing, because I watch people sweat numbers. It's like, why are you sweating numbers? Because for me, Bitcoin was something that ethically I just wanted to do.
Yeah.
From a moral standpoint.
Yeah.
So because the money's
bought
so
Bitcoin,
broken.
I don't know, 4 years, 3 years, whatever it was. When it was first starting to go up the first time, when it was first starting to go up is when I bought. And I don't even know how much I have anymore. I just keep it. I'm not going to sell it now. I'm going to see what happens.
Hodl.
Again, I don't. That's correct.
That's right.
Correct. Yes, that's all I'm doing, and we'll see what happens. So I think Luis comes from LA. He says this LA mayor is a piece of work, trying to cut out people's lights. He would ruin refrigerated diabetic medicine. Oh, I didn't even thought of that. Yeah, he's right.
Oh, yeah. Well, and they just wanted to, assert their authority. And, I was somebody at the beginning. I had no pressing desire to go party when all this broke out. I stayed home just like everybody else. Here there wasn't anything to go do. I guess. But then when I saw them go that far, so it's not that I was in favor or annoyed by other people partying in the neighborhood. I was just like, well, that's probably not so smart. But my beliefs as an American is, well, we wouldn't do that. What they do inside their home has nothing to do with us.
Right.
That's a quite liberal value, is, people's bedrooms is their business, and what they're doing inside their house. If it's not, if they don't have somebody chained to the wall, then we're pretty much leaving them alone inside the interior of their own home. And for me, turning off the water and power because people were, gathering was definitely the state just stunting its ability to do that to us. And that was a real wake up.
I remember in New York, they were saying, you can only have 10 people over or 5 people over for a party or something. I mean, is the sheriff going to come knock on your door? Let me count heads. Is that going to happen? I mean, just that entire idea is just dumb. It's terrible.
Well, and it sent me down, that imaginary seeing this through. And it's like, well, I could see them stopping cars and being like, why are you going, this place or that place? And, there was some, you're New Yorker, so maybe you can remember these details. There was some governor in some other state of somewhere where New Yorkers would go, Rhode Island, some other state, where they were pulling people over and asking them why. I mean, and all of this was happening, and I was raising all these questions, and I wasn't even able to work at the time, so I got to really just like listen to lots of theories and read lots of books, and it just opened my mind to what's broken about the money specifically. So that was my big funnel into liberty, was Bitcoin.
It's funny that so many people have gone down that road, right? Kenny says, I just want to live my life how I see fit and make money without government overreach and regulation. Is that hard to ask for? I mean, come on, we're banning body armor and aftermarket car exhaust, for God's sake. Yeah, I mean, yes. I think sadly, it kind of is too much to ask for, Kenny, because we've walked down that horrible slope.
Well, there's either central planning or there's not. And so once you begin down that road, like, how do you free the once known as free market? It's not free anymore.
Yes. And the problem is, this is what I remember someone telling me once. They said, Larry, we can't have free market healthcare. We already had it with Obamacare and it didn't work.
Yeah. And that wasn't a free market.
Not at all. Because they called it the marketplace. The average person actually believed that Obamacare was the free market. And I'm saying, wow, Obamacare was clearly not the free market. And people believed it, though, because he called it the marketplace. Oh, see?
Well, I mean, and that's, of course, the media slants and all of that. And like, I went through the period of time where I was just my pride couldn't take the fact that I was repeating talking points that were incorrect. And the media felt no sense of responsibility to represent things in an intellectually honest way. Like, what was I supposed to do about that except for turn them off? So that's what I did. Yeah, but there's a lot of people. I mean, I was a college graduate. Like, I am a college graduate, but I mean, I was 10 years post removed from the from government school, college graduate. Like, if I didn't understand these things, how are other people? Like, I didn't even understand anything about what the liberty movement was about.
Right.
I mean, I wasn't even presented with these ideas because there's such a duopoly there's such a duality on these things, and you're either one side or the other. And so then the media scares you about one side, and then it's just like, well, there's got to be more ideas than just one or the other.
Logic Rex says, definitely don't see the current fiat system lasting much longer. It's not sustainable. I think he agrees with you. I think he's on your side.
Well, and it's also, it's like, well, they're crashing it on purpose, but it was also doomed to fail for reasons. Like, ever since 2008, I think it was, well, you could go back and say since 1971, when they took us off the gold standard, that we've been doomed to fail. But you could go back even farther than that. I mean, it just depends on, history is not really something where you can isolate an event and say, well, that was the problem. It's to use a blue-pilled word, it's systemic. It's like the problems are systemic.
Absolutely. Yes. So what are you doing now? What steps are you making now in your career? What are you doing?
Well, I bought Bitcoin, fell into the Bitcoin rabbit hole, not to keep using that word, but
no, I like it. It's good.
It's so interesting how there's so many ideas, but you have to sort of set out and then they find you, right?
Yes.
So I do a lot of Bitcoin messaging, I suppose, and I'm learning at the same time, but I shifted I was just somebody that made pretty pictures, right? That was my career. And then I picked up photography right before the closures. Was doing combat sports media, trying to do like shoot pictures of like boxing and combat sports, that type of MMA, that type of thing. So when that all came to a freezing standstill, when the shutdowns came, I sort of pivoted and went to the Bitcoin liberty movement. So now that's really my primary concern.
So are you spending more time? Are you spending more time in front of the camera or behind the camera now?
I would say that it's like 75% in front of the camera. But no, I still shoot models, that type of thing. Still shoot some combat sports when I can. Yeah.
Well,
I'm gonna shoot some pro wrestlers in Tijuana next weekend, so that'll be fun.
Oh, I like that. That's great. I love that.
Yeah.
So if people want to follow you, is the best way to follow you just on Twitter? Is that the best way?
That is the greatest way to find me. Yes,
there we go. That's her right there, Jessica Vaughn. You can see it right there. Click on Twitter right there. If you want to click on that, that is a great way of following what she's doing. I'm very happy that we met and that you came on. I appreciate it tremendously. We are trying very hard to show the world that we're building a coalition of people from all around.
I believe in your vision, and I like your ideas about New York and trying to win over New York Democrats is something that I really relate to, because a lot of people have a hard time seeing the distance between the two things. But because that's what happened to me, I believe in your outreach and your vision. So I know that you can make New York a better place.
I appreciate that so much. Jessica, thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a good one, guys.
Bye.
Bye. So, yes, that was the one, the only Jessica Vaughn. If you please follow her on Twitter, see what she's doing, check out all her cool stuff. And if you want to start following her and also, of course, clicking on her stuff, seeing what she's doing with Bitcoin, that is great stuff for you to do. So, again, why do I bring on so many people tonight? Why am I spending the time doing this? It is to show you that what actually matters is bringing people together. She said it. She's like, hey, she used to be a Democrat. You found the people. They used to be Republicans. They used to be nothing. They used to be whatever. This is a movement that many people can join in. Many people can make something happen. So I'm asking you right now, do me a favor, guys. Support me. Like, comment, share, as I said, and support the people who are on here. Support Jessica. Help her out with what she's doing, right? Help out Andrew Heaton. Help out Lou Perez. Help these people out because they're part of this too. So if you can give, now is the time. Now's the time. Click that button. Give $100 if you have it. If you got less, that's good too. Whatever we can do, we've got to keep moving this forward. That's the whole point. And I'll say it again. If you're in a spot where you can give $500, where you can give $1,000, you should. You should. I'm not ashamed to tell you. You should. I've given more than that. Other people give more than that. I gave way more than that last time. And I'm still not working. So you can bleed a bit if you can. It does matter. I hope you see there is no one else right now doing what I'm doing. Do you want to be part of this? Jump on board. Liking, commenting, sharing does matter, as you've seen me say 1,000 times. And of course, giving does matter tremendously. This is what we're talking about, giving to the best of your ability. It really does matter. If you can do it, now is the time that we should do it. So let me grab a couple more of these here. David says, you persuaded me to rethink my Democrat affiliation. You don't know how much I love hearing that. Why? Because most New Yorkers are Democrats. Again, 3-1 across the state, 6-1 in New York City. We have to be able to get people from the left and the right to realize we are the answer. And look, some people get mad and say, Larry, you don't always, ask people to become libertarians. It's true. I don't. I don't always ask people to do that. I want you all to become libertarians. Of course I do. But I will accept it if you stay Republican or stay Democrat, but vote libertarian when you have a good libertarian in front of you. What I want is your votes, because your votes will matter. Of course, I want you to sign up and be libertarian. I get it. That's what I want. But your votes matter more than anything, because here's the reality. The establishment decides how valuable we are by the amount of votes that we get, number one, and number two, by the amount of money that we raise. Those are the two ways that they judge us as real. If we just have good ideas, they don't care. I've had good ideas on my website for 5 years. Not one politician, not one candidate, not one elected official has taken any of my ideas. They don't care about my ideas. They'll care though, excuse me, they will care though, excuse me, when we get enough votes. When we get enough votes, then they will care. And enough just means enough to care about making impact. 10, 15%. I want us to win. We don't have to win. We have to get 10, 15, 20%. Then they'll go, oh my God, this guy's real. We have to pay attention now. Now he'll be valid. That's what will matter. That's important. So yes, thank you, David. I love that so much. I really do. Thank you. Yes. So John says, where can we purchase the Larry-thons? Soon. Yes, but not yet. Yes. Danny says, Larry is the only answer for New York, but that's just me. It's not just you, Danny. It's everybody. It's the right answer. We really want to make, here's the reason. If you say to yourself, my God, Larry, I'm conservative and I want New York to be conservative. Awesome. I'll let you be conservative. I won't bother you. But Larry, I'm liberal and I want to make sure New York's liberal. Great. I'll let you be liberal. It's fine. I'm not going to force you to be something you're not. I'm going to support you in being you, whoever you want to be, being with whoever you want to be, acting how you want to act. I'm going to support that and make sure no one else bothers you, but I'm also going to make sure you don't bother anybody else, right? And that's all that matters. Literally, the Libertarian Party is the party of consent. And you would think in today's world that that would kind of be important. Consent, kind of important. We are literally the party of consent. That is so important. That is critically important. So thank you for that, Danny. So DJ Elf says, oh, wrong one. Hold on. I want to grab someone else. Chip says, I was Republican for over 55 years. You changed that. Thank you, Larry. Yes. Thank you. Yes. We're trying very much to do this. 100%. Thank you so much. David goes on and says, how you convince my teachers union, Democrats all the way wife to vote for you against the Cuomo-Malari blockade. That's huge. Thank you. Yes, absolutely. That's what I want to hear. You make, guys, if you're watching this and you're thinking that we're just talking trash and I'm just screaming and yelling at the into the void, I sometimes feel like I'm yelling into the void. I do feel that way sometimes. I'm not. People are getting it. People are jumping on board. Things are happening. It's critically important that we make this happen. 100%. Thank you. Danny says, Larry, booty shorts. That'll definitely sell. I got to do booty shorts now? You know, if I'm going to do the booty shorts, I might have to do the boots too. Just saying. I might have to do both. I don't know. Whatever it takes, Danny. We do what we got to do. Maybe I got to do that. Oh, Michelle's already on it. Michelle's like, leggings. Yeah, you guys can make, oh, look. All right, we got to see how this works here. I don't know what I'm committing to, but look, I am committed to making this happen. I want to make this happen. We have to do this. It's important. So I might be wearing booty shorts, I guess. Well, whatever. We'll do what we got to do. We got to support. So please donate if you can. Like, comment, and share. It does matter. Liberty Revolution says, after you win, what appointment to a board or committee are you looking forward to the most and why? This is a great question. One of the things I'm looking at is trying to end many of these boards and committees. There's a reason. Again, I'll talk about what matters and then what is perfect and not perfect, right? The board and committee current situation is terrible. It does not work well at all. Because for those who don't know, you have boards and committees that are, the members are selected and chosen by the governor and or by the Senate and the Assembly. And then they're put on the board and they can make decisions. Well, in theory, that might sound fair. And the goal is to, oh, it's fair. We're not involved. They're neutral. They're not neutral because they're selected and they're cronies of these people. And they're not accountable to anybody. That's the problem. So now you have a local place that says, hey, I want to come in and put windmills, or I want to put solar panels in these areas. And the local people say, well, wait a minute, we may want or not want them. So this board comes by and says, why don't you talk to us and say what you feel? And the people say what they feel. And if the people don't like it, the board goes, thank you for listening. We are still anyway just going to put this in anyway. Now, am I against putting windmills and or solar panels in any given area? I'm not. You as a local person should decide. Do you want them? Take them. You don't want them? Don't take them. But with the board and committees, the way it is now, there's no repercussions. What I'm saying is every local board and committee should be elected by the local people, and everyone on that board should be part of that local committee. They must live there. They must live there. That is not perfect. There will still be cronyism here or there. There will still be corruption here or there. However, the most important piece here, if that board is locally elected from people who live there, two things happen. Number one, the people are accountable to local family and friends. They can be elected and removed because they did something that people don't like. And if they do something that people don't like, the local people can now petition the state to come protect them and be the arbiter of truth and to fix things, right? That doesn't happen now. Now the board comes from the state. There's no one to talk to. No one is accountable. Will my idea be perfect? No, there will still be problems. Is it better? Multiple times better. There is some accountability and some appeal process, which is what I want local people to have. I, as a governor, should not be deciding whether solar panels or windmills or whatever go into your community. You should be deciding if that's what you want. That's what should be happening, and it isn't. So my biggest issue is to end most of them, and anything that I put in with people who want to end them. That's the most important piece. I hope that makes sense. I hope I went a bit long, but I hope you get what I'm talking about. Localization is the critical piece. And when we make that work, you will see things change, right? That's when you'll see things change. We won't worry about, well, let's cut the state up. You'll be like, you know what? I get to decide what happens in my community, and that's what I want. Localism is critical. If you like what I'm saying, do me a favor. Donate. That's what I'm asking you to do. I'm asking you to donate. That is the answer. Now, I've used my magic powers several times. I'm going to use them again. I'm not done. You thought, well, Larry, you have magic cool powers. I do. And I'm going to keep using them. I'm going to bring in the one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend, not the fake one, but the real Spike Cohen. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, Larry. Thanks for having me, man.
No, thanks for coming. I appreciate you showing up, particularly now that you're this heavy hitter that now Tucker Carlson is now talking about. You're some guy on the internet. That was amazing.
I'm a guy on Twitter. I've been Tasha's husband. I've been a few other things that I'd really rather not repeat. Now, at long last, I am a guy on Twitter, and I couldn't be more proud.
That's absolutely true. For those of you who don't know, Spike has been killing it on social media. I just got to say, you have just been amazing. We love you. So good what you're doing. And Tucker Carlson actually quoted you on Twitter and said, yes. A guy on the internet.
A guy on Twitter. Yeah.
A guy on Twitter. Yes. And it didn't even say Spike Cohen. And you always say you're the 2020 bronze medalist for the VP.
Bronze medal, libertarian, right? well, vice presidential bronze medal. He did actually say my name. He said a guy on Twitter named Spike Cohen had a pretty good take on this or whatever. He was quoting me about, and the quote was that, the U.S. government is arming Ukrainians because they're their ally, and they're seeking to disarm the Russians. I should have added disarm and financially harm the Russians because they're their adversary or their opponent. In totally unrelated news, they're trying to disarm you.
Yes, totally unrelated. They have nothing to each other.
Could not be more related.
That was so good. I love that you are rocking and rolling. And what I also love is you're putting out a message that is radical enough to be noticed.
Right.
But at the same time, acceptable enough for people to get, which is hard. You are really doing a good job at this, brother. I don't mean to pump you up, but I'm gonna pump you up. I don't care.
I'm not gonna.
It's good.
If this is what the purpose of the Larry-thon is, I want to come to every single one after this.
100%, absolutely. Sonia says right away. She pops it right in. She goes, "Spike, your comments on political posts kill me."
Thank you.
So you're doing something right. Absolutely.
I'm trying, man.
Yes,
I'm trying.
And then David says, naturally, Tucker Carlson didn't mention the Libertarian Party. No, he did not.
No, he mentioned guys on Twitter, which is kind of the backup name for the Libertarian Party is guys on Twitter.
Also true. Yeah. That's true. Yes, absolutely true. But I guess what I want to bring up here more than anything is you are moving towards you are the power, right? Yeah. That's like your thing. Please tell me, what does that mean? Help me out with this to get the people who are watching. What does that mean?
Sure. So You Are the Power is an organization I started to address what I think is a gaping void in our movement, which is that there are a lot of people out there who are sick of Republicans and Democrats.
Yep.
They are ready to for a bold, stark alternative, but they're not ready to join another political party, and they're certainly not ready to join the third largest political party, which right now has not been able to win any federal or statewide races. So it's too late of a buy-in. It's like someone saying, you know what, I need to fix some stuff in my car. And we say, well, listen, we got this whole different thing. We're going to get you a brand new scooter. It's going to get you everywhere you need to go. We don't have an early enough buy-in. You Are the Power is that earlier buy-in.
Got it.
If someone agrees with us on just one thing, instead of trying to argue with them about why they should vote Libertarian, why they should join the party and everything else, instead we organize and work with them and everyone else on that one thing that we already agree on.
Yes.
Bring them into the movement. If nothing else, even if they only agree with us on that one thing and they only work with us on that one thing in that one area, then we've essentially leveraged one of our political opponents to help accomplish one of our goals. Hopefully we can actually bring them in full throttle into the movement. But if nothing else, we've been working with people that agree with us on one thing. And then if we're able to accomplish using the existing city council or county council or whoever we're advocating in front of, if we're able to use them to accomplish this goal, great. If they refuse to work with us, even better, because now we can run libertarian candidates, not on the I'm a libertarian and here's what I want to tell you about every single thing ever platform, but I'm running on this one thing that we already agree on. And if you elect me, I will do this and all this other stuff because I'm a libertarian. But because people are focused on that, they vote for the people to get that thing done. And voila, we just had a bunch of non-libertarians elect a libertarian into office. And we're building a baseline of support, both for libertarian candidates and for libertarian. By the way, when I say libertarian, I mean small L. They can be in the LP. They could be unaffiliated. These are mostly nonpartisan races. We are a non-connected political action committee. But the point is to move the liberty movement by bringing people into the movement and actually pushing our goals one issue at a time in communities across the country. That is You Are the Power. And if you'd like to get involved, go to youarethepower.net. But before that, go to LarrySharp.com right now. Give just until it hurts. Don't give till it hurts. Give right before the point of pain. Then go to youarethepower.net and give the rest until it hurts.
There we go. I love that idea. Do that. Do what he just said. I love that 100%. Yes. No, it's funny. I was just talking about this. I was saying how, well, of course, I want everyone to register and be libertarian. Of course, I want that.
Of course.
But what I'll take is just every once in a while, when you see a good libertarian, vote for them. Right? If that libertarian is saying the things that you agree with, if that libertarian is going to do the things you want them to do, vote for them. That's it. If we just go down that road only, I'm good. Even if you stay Democrat, stay Republican, stay unaffiliated, stay independent, whatever you're going to stay, just realize that there are libertarians out there trying to make change, trying to get done some of the things that you agree with, that the duopoly is just not going to change anything. It's clear they have not changed anything in 40 years. So they're just not going to change anything. So make that, and I'll take that. And then I hope in the long run, you'll realize that Libertarian Party is for you. And I hope in the long run, you'll change over and become one of us all day long. That would be awesome.
Exactly. And that movement growing has to happen outside of the party. The purpose of a political party is to run candidates, retain ballot access, make sure that everything is in place for candidates to bring their movement and their candidacy to be able to contest races and win races. Absolutely. You don't see the conservative movement is not doing their work inside of they're not doing their activism from within the Republican Party. They're putting their candidates in the Republican Party. The progressive movement isn't putting their candidates, isn't doing their activism within the Democratic Party. They're doing their activism and then bringing their candidates into the Democratic Party. We need to start doing the same thing. When you try to use the party as your tool of activism, it's like using a school bus as a battle tank. It is the right tool for the right thing. It is the wrong tool for what you're trying to use it for. And we could spend an hour into why that's not the right tool to use. The biggest one right now is we've seen there's some factionalism within the Libertarian Party. That's the nature of party politics. But that's the nature of party politics. It's always been that way. It's always going to be that way. What if instead, and hear me out, I know this sounds insane, but what if instead libertarians, after doing whatever party politics stuff they need to do, they went out into the rest of the world and did liberty their way and didn't worry about if another libertarian was doing it differently, because it's actually good if we're all doing it our different ways. That's what I'm building with You Are the Power. A movement, basically a sandbox and a network of like-minded, liberty-minded activists across the country who are already building these sort of decentralized networks where they're going to go out and do liberty activism. And there's going to be different competing networks. They don't have to work together if they don't want to. They can do their own separate stuff as long as they align with our goals and our values, which are clearly stated when you sign up. Then let's go and fight for liberty. If you can get two other people to join you, if any three You Are the Power activists want to go out there and do stuff as You Are the Power, go out there and do it and get people to join you.
I agree. Yes, and yes, 100%. The issue that I think is critical, what you're saying is, I've gone to DSA meetings here in New York City. DSA, yep. Those who don't know what DSA is, the Democratic Socialists of America. Mm-hmm. They vote Democrat, right? Even though they think the Democratic Party is garbage. Yep. Because for them, they're socialist. They don't think the Democratic Party goes far enough. They think they're chumps. They think they're just kind of Republican-like. They want actual socialism, right? Right. So, right. But to your point, they put their candidates through the Democratic Party, but they do all their stuff outside of the party. It is something they do. I'm with you. I'm saying use the parties to get your candidates. I'm with you. Yes. Yep. And when you see a libertarian who's able to push through this, support them when you can. I think it works. Exactly. I'm with you completely. So Absolutely. You have a couple of friends here. Oh, wow. Jamie says Spike is amazing.
Oh, no, you, Jamie.
There we go. Spike owns Twitter.
Thank you, Pete. I appreciate that.
I like
that.
I
am a guy on Twitter, so I kind of have to own it.
Yeah. Accurate. Yes. And then people are asking, are you at a pig roast?
I'm always at a pig roast, like in here where it matters. No, I just got back from the Reno herd immunity festival where I did get COVID, and thankfully it's been relatively mild. So I've just been kind of tanning and enjoying my time around the house, and that's so like I'm literally this red. This isn't a lighting thing. I'm actually this I'm this sunburned. So I've been just kind of bumming it around the house and burning up. So I felt like this was the right vibe because if I had the wherewithal to start a fire in my backyard, there would be one.
There we go. Jennifer says, Spike Cohen, one of the many reasons I jumped ship on the duopoly. Keep on speaking truth, lift the veil.
I do what I can.
I like that. You got some friends here. This is good.
Lifting the veil. Lifting the veil. I like that.
That's not bad, right? There we go. So Paula says, I bet Elon knows Spike is just not some guy on the internet. I don't know.
I hope so. I'd love to have that conversation because I mean, as a fellow guy on the internet or the guy on Twitter, that's definitely a conversation. And I think honestly, if we're having that conversation, I think Larry needs to be involved. I think a lot of a lot of big people in the liberty movement need to be involved in that because, I'm not sure Elon is necessarily a libertarian, but he's talking more and more about the need to break away from the partisan politics that we're seeing in this endless kind of theater of opposition between the parties. Well, we have a solution to that, and that's, break up their good cop, bad cop routine and put the power back in the hands of the people.
Absolutely. Well, the funny part about Elon is, we really want, and this is where our party has failed in this regard. There are a lot of people who are getting upset about Democrat or Republican. A lot of people who were more mainstream Republicans when Trump was taking over the Republican Party in 2016, 2018, in that era, many of them left. And what did they do? They became They became Democrats.
Yep.
Why didn't they come to us? They didn't. Yep. Now you have a lot of Democrats who are upset they think the Democratic Party has gone too far left. So they're becoming Republicans. Well, why aren't they coming to us? Right? This is something we have not done a good job at. We've got to be better. We've got to be better at getting them when they're unhappy with their party. The first place it should look is us. And we have not done a good job of that.
Because we didn't have that buy-in, right? So someone says, I cannot take the Republican Party anymore. I don't really like the Democrats, but Donald Trump was a bridge too far. And they come to us and we go, listen, we're a very principled party. We'd love for you to vote for us, but here are all of our beliefs. And they look at that and go, I think I'm more of a Democrat than that. And there's nothing that the reality is that's a lot of people right now. We call them normies for a reason, right? We have to build the movement because what if instead that person said, you know what, I'm done with Republicans. I can't do this anymore. They're still conservatives. They're just done with Trump. They're done with the Republican Party. And we go, you know what? We're working on fighting tax increases. We're working on fighting against gun control. We're working on fighting to actually reduce taxes. We're working on medical freedom. And they go, okay, I'm with that. And we can work with them on that thing over time. And you know, everyone watching this, and you, Larry, as well, you know full well, when you first come to the movement, you may not be fully libertarian. The more time you spend around other libertarians, hearing libertarian ideas, seeing libertarianism in action, the more libertarian you become. The more we can bring them into our orbit, the more we can affect them with our gravity.
100%.
This is that pipeline into libertarianism.
And the thing I remember, as I say this all the time, in 2012, when I came into the movement, I came in through Gary Johnson.
Yeah.
And when I heard Gary Johnson speak, I was like, this guy's a radical. And if you know Gary Johnson, he's not a radical.
Not a radical.
He's not a radical. Right?
But he's not a radical by our standards, but to the normie world, Jerry Johnson's like, what? That sounds insane what he's saying. Yeah.
Yeah. So to me, I was a normie. So I hear Gary Johnson, I go, this guy's a radical. Oh my God, what's going on here? I think it's I'm far more radical than Gary Johnson is. But to your point, as I spent more time in the movement, I shifted and moved and moved and moved.
Exactly.
But I was not there in the beginning at all. And we need to be better letting people in who aren't exactly where we are, right? And that's a critical piece.
And a perfect example of that is this guy right here, Larry Sharp. Former normie, now not only is he the banner carrier for the Libertarian Party of New York and running for governor, not only is he building coalitions with people like Andrew Yang's Forward Party, not only is he growing the movement and the party, not only is he one of the most viable candidates we have at the statewide level, but he right now is opening himself up for your support. And that's what you can do right now by going to LarrySharp.com and donating. Again, don't give till you're hurt. Give just right before it starts to hurt. Right before, right at that like moment of it's like they say in physical therapy. Just go right up to the moment of pain and then pull back just a little bit. Then after you've given to that, go over to youarethepower.net, give till it hurts. But
there we go.
The initial, that first round of giving before the pain comes in, do that for Larry. Because what I don't want is for you to associate giving to Larry with pain. If you have to associate giving to me with pain, I'm okay with that. But don't associate that with Larry.
You are being a good martyr. I appreciate that tremendously. Nicely done. I appreciate that tremendously. Yes, absolutely. So let's see here. The DJ Elf 7 says, I'll be honest, I'm not comfortable with all libertarians.
Me either.
Me neither.
Yes. Yeah, no, actually.
Yes, this is not an uncommon feeling.
This is not uncommon. No.
Yes.
No.
But I do feel that Larry is one of their best. Thank you, DJ. I do appreciate that.
Agreed.
Yes, absolutely.
Agreed.
I'm trying my best to make that happen. Yes, absolutely. So Paula says Sharp, Yang, Spike would be a great cabinet for national office. I agree. Let's get yes. Now we just got to find
That's
cool
also a great name for someone. Like if someone's name was Sharp Yang Spike, I would probably already be more interested in voting for that person.
Yeah, just for that name.
Knowing anything
that's true.
That name.
I completely agree. That's true. Yes, 100%. But I think the funny part about that is now we have to find a presidential candidate who can make enough impact to make that happen, to make us all part of the cabinet.
Yes. It might be Sharp Yang Spike. I think there is a guy named Sharp Yang Spike who is ready to take the Libertarian Party to the next level. And we just have to find
I am with
that guy.
100%. Jericho says, Larry and Spike, in my opinion, bear the two most important people in the movement. I think she means R.
I think it was R, yeah.
Yeah, R. But we could be Bear too, but it's fine.
Bear.
Yes. You all would speak to the exhausted majority. Oh, I like that. The exhausted majority. Jericho, I am so stealing that. And I'm probably giving you no credit for that whatsoever. But you'll know when I use it that it was from you. I actually like that tremendously.
No, I'm stealing that from Larry and not crediting him.
Even better.
Yeah, I'm taking it back, but I'm not giving it back to you. I'm taking it back for me.
There we go.
The exhausted majority. That speaks to me right now because I could use a nap.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are. I think that's why they're giving up, right? The hardest part that I deal with was I cross New York State is people who are just like, why bother? They're like, why bother, right? And I talk about it often. There is volunteer burnout, donor burnout, voter burnout, activist burnout. It's a real thing. It's why you don't see me run every year for something again, right? I run every 4 years. And when I run to 4 years, I bug you for volunteering and I bug you for money because I'm running. Then I leave you
Yes.
alone for
And
3
you
years.
leave them alone for 4 years. Yes.
I leave you alone and say, you can do you. I'm leaving you alone.
Yeah.
And then 3 years, 4 years later, I go, okay, you had your rest. You got to come up now. You got to volunteer for me. You got to donate for me. You got to get out there, like, share, and comment. You got to do the stuff now because now I'm running again. And I hope that people see that I'm only running when I can provide value, right? In my head, I'm a businessman. So I have to be able to give value to my customers. If you're going to give me money, I got to give you value, right? So I'm trying to give you something, value in return. I'm trying to give you a couple things. One, some hope, which may sound crazy, but I want to give you some hope that this state can be saved. And if New York State can be saved, the entire country can be saved.
Yes.
That's a fact. New York State, again, I say it all the time and I'll keep saying it, ranked the least free state by Cato multiple years in a row.
Yep.
So you Californians suck on that. We're number one. So yes, absolutely. We
are take that, California.
That'll teach you. So yes. So we are the least free state multiple years in a row by Cato. If we can fix this state, every state's fixable. If we can fix this state, the nation is fixable. So I want to give you some hope wherever you are in this nation that there's a chance for some repair, number one. But number two, I want to give you an actual policy library where you can go to people and say, when they go, well, what about this? You can find a Larry Sharpe video and go right here. This is the way you fix it. Do this thing. And then they get mad and go, but that's not a Republican or Democratic talking point. I know.
Yeah. That's why it will work.
That's why it'll work. This thing. And next, I want to realize that if you want to run locally, if you want to support somebody running locally, there is a place to look at, an example to look at, that it can be done. It can be done realistically. It can be done aggressively. It can be done in a way that the people will recognize you. It can be done. That's what I'm trying to achieve. And I hope people see that. That's the most important piece that I see here. That's why I want people to support us.
I can't think offhand of anyone who I would say is doing it better than you, and or better and more consistently than you are. I think that you have been, when I say that you're the banner carrier or the standard bearer, it's not just in that you're running for the biggest office in the state. It's that you are, it's not for nothing that you're doing that. You have set the example and are continuing to set the example, not just in New York. I mean, you have a nationwide campaign team. You had it in 2018. You've got it again now. You have what? Well, it was available to the 2020 race, but we won't get into that.
It was.
It was, but anyway.
Yes.
If you want to find out more about that, go to our appearance on the PBD podcast. But anyway, you have consistently been the standard bearer for not just how to run, but how to organize, what the message is supposed to be. And I think I'm a little bit more radical than you are. We've had this conversation before, but ultimately when we are in a bus hurtling in the wrong direction, the fact that you want to get off at, this way at exit 20 and I want to crash into the guardrails, that doesn't, like, we're going the wrong way and we need to all be going this way.
Correct.
And you have been consistent in presenting how to present libertarian ideas as solutions, not as thoughts, but as actual solutions to real problems that real people are really facing right now.
Yes.
I can't think of anyone that does it better than you, man. I mean, there's certainly, and as consistently as you have been doing. And it's why I'm here telling you at home that are watching this or wherever you are watching this, go to LarrySharpe.com, give, donate, sign up. I'm sure Larry needs volunteers as well.
Absolutely.
If you say, but Spike, I am in Nebraska, I'm 1,000 miles away, I couldn't possibly, I bet you Larry's got something you can do online.
I do. Yes,
Guaranteed.
You're correct. 100%. Absolutely. yes, and yes. So it's youarethepower.net, correct?
Youarethepower.net. Yes.
Youarethepower.net. And also please follow him on Twitter. This is where he's killing it. He is a guy on Twitter. He is a guy
on Twitter.
Real Spike Cohen, not the fake one. Don't go to the fake one.
Don't go to fake Spike Cohen. You will be
go to the real Spike Cohen. He's the only cool Spike Cohen. Spike, thank you so much for coming tonight. I really appreciate it.
One of your top, if I recall correctly, I am one of your top 50 favorite libertarians named Spike. Am I still in the running there? Okay, good.
You've actually moved up.
Have I?
Of all the people named Spike, and of all the libertarians named Spike, you're in my top 25.
I every single time. So, guys, we're going to break 10. We're going to break 10 by the end of the year. Make Larry like Spike more. That's the hashtag.
Yes.
Put it out there. LarrySharp.com. I
We're
love you,
moving
Larry.
up.
Everyone go support this guy right now.
Thank you, my friend. So good seeing you.
Thank you, man.
Have a good one. So head over there and support him. youarethepower.net. And of course, on Twitter, The Real Spike Cohen. Yes, he was mentioned on regular TV. Crazy, right? I know, but it does happen. Why do I bring him on? Why do I bring that up? Because whether you like Tucker Carlson. Whether you like Tucker Carlson or not, maybe you love him, maybe you hate him, maybe you don't care, maybe you don't know who he is. Who cares? The point is, he's a mainstream media personality, and he literally had Spike Cohen. He mentioned Spike Cohen literally on his show. That's a big deal. We are becoming more and more mainstream. And you might go, Larry, do we really want to be mainstream? Yeah. Because people who watch mainstream media, they vote. And we need extra votes. That's what we need. Extra votes. That's what we want. I want more and more people who are going to vote for us, because if we vote more, if they vote more for us, they will take us as more seriously, and we can actually make change. That's the issue. We can actually make some change. That's what I really want. That is driving me crazy. I feel sometimes like I am screaming, right, into the void. But when I see what's happening now, I realize that I'm not. So let me grab a couple more of these if I could. DJ Elf7 says a lot of classic criticisms of libertarians are not applicable to Larry Sharp. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. Yes, absolutely. Yes. So let me see if I can grab a couple more of these. Paula says, true, we are exhausted and exasperated. You know, this is a thing that I talk about all the time, right? It is a big issue, right? That people feel like there is just, it's too much. How much can I handle? What else can I do? I've been trying. I voted for Democrats, it didn't work. I voted for Republicans, didn't work. I didn't vote, it didn't work. No matter what, it doesn't work. I hear you. And I voted for Larry Sharp, and the world didn't change overnight. It's true, it didn't. But we did move forward, and we can do more. We can do more. That's why I'm asking more of you. Absolutely. Tom says, the two people of liberty that have influenced me the most right here. Thank you, Tom. I appreciate that completely. Jessica, you're still watching. Thank you. So awesome. Jessica says, Spike always clarifies the vision and path forward. Yes. Quite the asset to the liberty movement. Without question, yes, he is killing it. And Luis agrees completely. Absolutely. Danny says, tired but nowhere near giving up. You know, I'm going to be very forward with you guys. Danny, sometimes I want to. I'm just human. And sometimes I think, why? Oh my God, why? But basically after one night of rethinking it, I get back in action again. There's times when I feel like, what am I doing? There's times I want to quit. Of course, I'm just human. But then I realize, do I want to move? And if I move, am I just moving 10 years away from New York coming to me next? Right? So do I stand my ground and try to fight, which I know some people think I'm crazy. People tell me all the time, Larry, pack up, move to New Hampshire. Larry, move to Tennessee. Larry, move to Texas, move to Florida. You could run down here. I hear that all the time. And there's two issues with that, to be very clear. Number one, I can run in New York because I know New York. I'm a New Yorker. It's where I'm born. It's where I'm raised. I know the state. I crossed the state. I was cross state when I was a kid. This is so 70s. But when I was a little kid, we actually had a station wagon and we drove upstate to go to Bear Mountain, or we drove to Niagara Falls and cross the state, even in the 70s. So I knew New York State even when I was a little kid, like 8, 9, 10 years old. I know the state. I live here. I'm a New Yorker. I can run here. If I pack up and move to Tennessee, I don't know Tennessee. How could I go there and go, I'm going to run Tennessee now? I'd be full of it. I would have to live in Tennessee for at least 5 years. I mean, maybe 20. I don't know. I don't know Tennessee well enough to know how long it would take me to know Tennessee. I don't know how long it'll be. Minimum 5 years, maybe 20. I don't know. How long would it take before I could consider myself knowing Tennessee? Or Texas or Florida, or what insert state here, whatever it is. So it's hard for me to just pack up and move. I wouldn't be really be able to run some places. Maybe a local, if I knew a local town, perhaps. But maybe that's about it. And not just that, I'm a New Yorker. I don't want to have to move. I feel like I'm being bullied out of my state, if that makes any sense, right? I feel like I'm being bullied out of my home. I don't like it, but I understand why people leave, right? Lou Perez left. I get it. A lot of people leave. They get too much. They get exhausted and they go, I'm done. And they pack up and they leave. I'm trying to not be that person. I'm trying to be the person that can stay and fight, because here's the next thing. Let's say I do pack up and move to Georgia, Tennessee, Florida, whatever, Wyoming, wherever I go. How much time before whatever happens in New York comes to me? 5 years? 10 years? 20? Do I then run for governor then 20 years later and go, I told you guys, you brought New York here. I got to stop it again. Is that what happens? I don't know. I am torn. But I get it. Absolutely. So yes. Scott says, yep, Larry Sharpin, a guy on Twitter. That's funny. Absolutely. Kenny says, lately, New York State Republicans burn me out more than Democrats do. And I'm a registered Republican. I'll never vote Libertarian after you. I'll never not vote Libertarian after you last ran in 2018. Thank you, my friend. And you know what? I'm going to be very forward about this. Because we're in New York State and it's run by Democrats, Republicans are in a very tough spot. I'm not excusing, to be forward, Kenny, I'm not excusing them. I'm explaining the way the system works is that all the money goes up to the governor and to Albany, and then they trickle it down to all of the counties, which I'm trying to stop. That's part of my entire plan for refunding, stopping all the money going to Albany first. Because now here's what happens. They vote for a budget. You're a Republican. You don't vote for the budget. You vote against it. You block something. They don't give you money to your state, to your county or to your area. The people don't know any better. They don't understand how that works. They just know that all of a sudden their roads aren't being fixed. They don't all of a sudden have money for their schools, and they blame you. So what are you going to do? Stand on your moral high ground? Nothing gets done? Your area is now not assisted because of the way the system works? Some do, and there are some Republicans who do stand their ground. Very few of them do. How can they? The system is broken. I'm not excusing it. I am explaining it. We have to break this cycle. It is a problem. The state makes it to where you kind of have to bow to the king, or you don't get, you can't help your own people. It is a terrible system. We really have to fix it. Michelle says, Larry, if you don't get in, we have zero hope. Well, let me tell you a worry that I have, Michelle. And I think I've shared this with you in the past. I feel like the window for change is closing. I really do. And I think they know it also. It's one of the reasons why they've made it so hard to get in the ballot. They know if they close the window now, it's done. And if you live in New York, it's done for good. They're never going to change the ballot access laws to make it easier ever again. And the reason, for those who don't know, is because they're now paying for all the elections. As of next year, New York State is going to use taxpayer money to pay literally millions of dollars. Over $100 million of taxpayer money is going to pay candidates to run. I'm not joking. This is actually going to happen as of next year. So now if you run, if you're able to raise X amount of dollars, you get, I think it's 6 to 1. So if you can raise $10,000, they're going to give you $60,000. If you raise $100,000, they give you $600,000. I'm not joking. If you're a gubernatorial candidate, if you raise $500,000, they give you $3 million. Yes. So they don't want anyone getting it except Republicans and Democrats. What will that do? It will have a whole bunch of people run because it's a massive grift. As long as you're running and you're in the Democratic primary and you raise X amount of money, you get $3 million to pay all of your people, to pay all of your consultants, to pay yourself. It's a big grift. That's what they want. But if libertarians or forward people or green, whoever else is in, well, then they got to get that money too. You give me $3 million to run, I'm the next governor. I'm struggling to get $500,000. I'm out here bugging you to give me cash. The state gives me $3 million, I'm the next governor. There's no way they beat me on this one. No way they beat me if they give me $3 million. I think they know that. I think they get that completely. Just saying, it seems like a done deal for me. But yeah, I do feel that it's closing. It's closing worse for New York. In some states like Pennsylvania, where it's a bit more of a mix, where you can go left or right, it can happen. Not in New York. New York, this is going to become a single-party democracy. Republicans already are a joke in our state 3-1. This happens after this year, and we're paying for stuff. Republicans gonna be a joke. Why bother even voting Republican? Just pack up and leave. And Republicans are doing that. People who vote Republican or conservative are literally leaving our state in droves. They're walking away, which makes it even harder for any change. So I hear you, and a part of me sadly does agree. But I'm trying. I just don't want to stop. That's the issue. So Kenny says, even if he doesn't get in, it'll still shake things up. I agree. But I also feel good that you're standing for your principles, even if you know your candidate is going to win. Thank you. You can still hold your head high with dignity. This is what I say before, right? Don't blame me. I didn't vote for these people. Don't blame me. Absolutely. Flying Rich says, yo, LS, how are you, my friend? Good to see you. From Florida, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yes, absolutely. Texas Gold says, Texas Gold is rooting for you and promoting you and other great libertarians as best we can. Your candidacy is critical for New York, and your win would benefit more than that state. Let me walk down that road. Why am I bugging you again for money again? I am. I'm asking you right now. Head on over, LarrySharpe.com/June, or click that link right there. Doesn't matter. Click the link. Head on over there. Give what you can give. If you can give $100 tonight, please give $100 tonight. If you can do it. If you can make it recurring, even better. If you can. If you can't, I get it. But if you can make it recurring, it's going to help tremendously. But one time is still good. If you can give $1,000, give $1,000. If I can get to $10,000 tonight, I am the donor who will match that. They'll match up to $10,000 tonight. So the more that we can put together, the more we match. What you're giving, if you give 100, you're giving 200. If you give 1,000, you're giving 2,000. That's the biggest piece if we can make that happen. That's what I want to make happen if we can. And you might go, Larry, why in the world? Why would I want to give $1,000? Why don't we give $100? Because you're investing. Because you're making things happen. Because you're seeing me here, and you've seen me here for 5 years. You've watched me change hearts and minds. I've helped you to change hearts and minds. You have seen this happen again and again and again, and it will keep happening again and again and again if we keep pushing forward. I'm bugging you because it matters. I am up against literally $10 million Republican, $20 million Democrat. I'm not going to raise $10 million. I know that. That's not going to happen. I don't need $10 million. I need enough money to get my name out to everyone. Already, my name is out. My name recognition is at least 25% across the state, if not more, which is massive for a third-party person, maybe even more. I already poll at 6% or more in all the polls that are being done so far. You've seen them. I've shown them to you. You can look at them. That's true. So I'm already on the move. If I get more people to see how that works, more people to see what I'm doing, where I'm going, oh my God, we explode. I am going to get back on all the cool shows again. Right? I'm going to go back on Joe Rogan, Glenn Beck, Tim Pool, all the cool. I'll be back on all the cool shows again. Now I'll be on the ballot. More people will see me. More people will move. But once I'm on those shows, I now have to advertise and then get more polling, because polling gets covered in the press. And once I start polling that I'm the difference between a Republican and Democrat, that's when the mainstream press picks me up. And when that happens, everything gets better. That's when all of a sudden now we're rocking and rolling. Everything gets better. That's why I'm bugging you. And again, you have seen me for 5 years trying to show you the way, trying to show you that I'm the person to move forward, and hoping that you will then also come with me, right, in the coming years. Some of you are going to jump on campaigns. Some of you are going to run yourself. Some of you are going to convince your friends and family members to run, to make change in your local communities. It matters tremendously. Lod says, Joe Rogan, hell yes. Yes, for those who don't know, I was on before. I'll be on again, right? Of course, absolutely. That's going to happen. But again, I've got to push forward more than that, right? I've got to push that and then some, right? And then some. Absolutely, yes. Judith says, investing in Larry Sharpe for New York governor is investing in freedom for all. Oh, thank you. That is so awesome. I appreciate that. Yes, absolutely. Ken says, I didn't know all that about how the budget is distributed in the state. That's scary. It is, Ken, right? The problem is right now, so much money goes directly to Albany that locally, some of you may not know this. There are many reasons why you go to your local legislators and you complain and say, hey, fix these things, and they say, we can't do anything. They're right. There are things in New York State called unfunded mandates. What does that mean? The state tells the county, we're not giving you any money, but you must spend money on these things. It's the law. You must spend money on these things. And the state goes, but the county goes, well, I don't have enough money. Too bad. You must spend money on these things. So then the county does that. And then 90%, I'm not joking, 90 or 95% of the budget is sucked up. So how in the world can you fix your roads? How can you make your schools better? How can you do the things that matter at local level? You can't. How can you build a new bridge? You can't do it. What do you have to do? You have to beg the state for money. And that's the whole point. So you have to beg the state for money. So you say, state, will you please come in and fix this? State, will you please come in and fix this? Well, who's going to say yes to that? Some board or some committee. And every one of these boards or committee, the majority of people are selected by the governor. I'm not joking. That's why if you heard earlier, someone asked me, well, what are you going to do when it comes to budget, to the boards and committees? Well, you put 3 of your cronies on that committee. What if you didn't vote for me? What if you voted against my thing? I tell my cronies, tell him no. Don't give him his bridge. Don't give him his roads. No. Yeah, you're screwed. So you have one option now. You know what that option is? Using law enforcement as a profit center. Why do you think all of a sudden the counties and the sheriffs and everything all of a sudden are out there, trying to find new ways to get you speeding tickets or whatever to write citations? They have to raise money to take care of the county. That's how New York State works. It shouldn't work that way. I want to change it. I'm the one who will tell you that. No one else tells you this, Ken. You don't know it because no one will tell you this. I cross the state. I meet politicians all the time. I meet candidates all the time. I meet local officials all the time. And they tell me these things. I know. I go to them. I go, yeah, it sucks. I don't know what to do. I can't do anything about it. They can't because the system's broken. Because the governor won't fix the system. And the system's set up for the governor to fix it all. If you notice in New York State, we rarely pass laws. When there's tragedy and they want to take guns, passing laws. But if it's not that, we rarely pass laws. We usually create committees or boards, or we pass budgets. That's it. So no one's responsible as they screw us all over. So yes, Ken, I'm not surprised you didn't know that at all. I'm not surprised whatsoever. Yes. So Kenny says New York elections are the biggest scam next to insurance companies and Big Pharma. I'm not fighting you. Yeah, I'm not fighting you. Absolutely. Yes. Jennifer says the fight for freedom didn't start on paper and it won't end on paper. Take action, live free. Yes, please take action. Totally correct. Absolutely. Yes. Paula says, wow, 6-1. Cuomo can cop a lot of fields with that much money. Man, what a scam. Yes, it's already being done in New York City. We already do it in New York City. If you raise X amount of money, the city gives you a bunch of money. Yes, they already do it. They already pay for the elections. It's why we have so many people running for office. How can they all afford to run for office? Your taxpayer money. How can they afford to give all these consultants all these positions? Taxpayer money. It is literally a political grifting class. I'm not exaggerating. It is a political grifting class that now every single year will take taxpayer money to do horrible advertisements on, paper, advertisements on TV to say the Democrats are evil or Republicans are evil. None of it will be positive. It'll just be a bunch of hit pieces. We are now paying to fight more between two people. And our answer is, that's a good idea. No. Terrible. David says, yo, Larry, that unfunded mandate story just gave me a flashback to what Christie did a few years back when he closed the George Washington Bridge. Oh, yes, that's right. 100%. Thank you for that. Brian says they keep us slaves by needing them for money. Tell Albany to piss off. Yes, Brian. Yes. Imagine if less money went to Albany. People say, well, Larry, that's just something that we talk about. No. It matters. And why it matters is if less money goes to Albany, there is less corruption in Albany. This is just simple math, right? I mean, very simple. Brian's 100% correct here. If there's, for example, $60 billion of taxpayer money in Albany, all I've got to do is send 1 or 2 thugs to Albany to coerce a couple of people, and I get a bunch of money. It's totally worth it. The odds of getting caught are slim. It's cheap for me to do this, and now I'll get a bunch of money. Makes sense. But what if there wasn't $60 billion in Albany, but there was between $1 and $5 billion in 62 counties? Well, now I got to send 62 people to thugs to each county to get the money, and it's not $60 billion. It's not worth it. Literally, it's harder to grift. It's harder to grift for less payoff, more chance of getting caught. If there's less money in Albany, it's a less juicy target. That's simple. Can I end corruption? No, I can't. But can I instead lessen it? 100% I can. Yes. And part of that is Albany not getting so much money. For those who don't know, Albany is New York State's capital, in case you don't live in New York. Less money should go to Albany, 100%. More should be local. Now, will that mean that local people won't be bullies or be corrupt? Some will, of course. But if local people are corrupt, and it's all done locally, not advocated by the state, two things happen. One, they are more accountable locally. The odds are higher they'll be caught and punished. Doesn't mean they will. The odds are higher. But not just that. Now, if it's not being done by the state, you locally can now complain to the state and say, state, you're screwed by my local bully. Can you help me? And the state's job should be, it is not now, should be to defend the individual against the local bully. So now you have an appeal process to go back and say, wait a minute, this guy's doing something locally he shouldn't do. You're right. I am going to stop this. I'm the state. I'm going to step in and do the right thing because I'm going to protect your individual rights against local bullies. Again, not perfect. Better? Yes, yes, and yes. Way better. That's what we should be doing. Less money to Albany, more locally, more control, and now an ability to go to the state and say, hey, state, help me out. I'm in trouble. Right now, the state's the one crushing you. There is no one higher to go to. And the judges in this state, they just support the system. They're not supporting individuals. They support the system. So you can't even go to courts to get help. I know I've tried more than once. I just get screwed. The courts just follow the system. They don't care about the individual. They should. They don't. Why? Why should they? The system is set up for them to not do that. Absolutely. This is a problem. And we have to fix it. Brian, you are completely correct. Yes. Shelley says, Mario Cuomo said the police would never have plate readers. 3 weeks later, we have plate readers. That's very good. Yes, absolutely. Paula says, love that. Political grifting class sums the whole two-party system up perfectly. It does. It's what they are. They're a political grifting class. They're going to make their money now off of, worse, taxpayers. At least now, they're still grifting, but at least now, when they're running for office, they have to get donors to give money. So they get big pharma, big business, them to give money, right? For those who don't remember, when I ran in 2018, I raised $500,000 and the average donation was about $85. I had some heavy hitter donors. Some people gave $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. Some people did give big money. It's true. Some did. But the average was $85. So most people gave averaged $85. That's the average. As to other big guys, what they're making, their average is probably $10,000, $20,000. That's probably their average. If you look at what the people donating, $50,000, $40,000. It's the norm. A $30,000 donation for me, a $4,000 donation for me is the rarity. That's 1 in 500 donors. It's so rare for someone to give me that kind of money to me. Most people give what I'm asking you for, $100. But if I was a big time Democrat, Republican, tons of people give $40,000, $50,000 to give. That's a normal thing for them. So right now that grifting class is on big donors. Now you're giving it, Paula, whether you like it or not. You're paying for Republicans, Democrats to run a campaign, whether you like it or not. That's going to start happening next year. I wish that wasn't true, but it is. Absolutely. So yes. So, all right, let's see here. Ian says, my sign came today from Zazzle. Yeah, thank you, guys. If you do want to help me out in that other way, you can also get some merch if you want. You want a cool shirt like I have right here? This cool shirt that I have, you can do that if you want to. You can head over to LarrySharp.com/shop if you want to. There is a shop part. You pick up a shirt, a sign, a mug, a cup, whatever you want. If you want to pick up some merch, please do that. Signs, some people will tell you, signs don't really matter. They'll say signs don't really matter. Well, signs don't matter when you are of a major party. That's true, because you're not going to be turned from Democrat to Republican by seeing a sign. So when it comes to Democrats, Republicans, that's true. It doesn't really matter. When it comes to third party, it is critical, because what third party is looking for is to be seen as establishment or real, right? To be seen as, relative, right? To be seen as important. That's the issue, to be seen as valid. So signs make third parties, myself, valid. Oh my God, that's Larry Sharp, that guy. Isn't he a libertarian? Oh my, that's that guy. Oh my God, people are supporting him. He's real. Maybe I should vote for him. So signs, when it's a guy like me, matter tremendously. If you have your old Larry Sharp sign from 2018, put it out. Please put it out. If you want to buy a new one, please buy a new one. Please put it out. Every sign counts. Bumper sticker counts. I got the magnets for the car. You want those? Put those out. All of them matter. Please, if you can. You might go, Larry, that shirt a little bit expensive. It is, because the shirt, not only is a shirt, but it also is donation to the campaign. So yes, you are paying more for the shirt because you're also donating to the campaign. It is expensive because you're donating to the campaign. That's the reason why. So you're aware. It's doing two things, not just one. So if you can, please do that. I appreciate that tremendously, Ian. Thank you so much for that. That's amazing. Yes. Voluntary says there was a lot of sharp signs in Buffalo and Amherst last time. Yeah, we do try, right? We get a lot of people, who cared. We had Western New York was huge for us. I'm pretty sure Steuben County was my most popular county. For those who don't know, that's Southern Tier, Western New York. We got about 9% of the vote out there. It's a lot. Many of the Western counties, we got 8, 6, 5% of the vote out there. There were parts, when it comes to individual precincts, the largest percentage I got actually was in North Country. At a couple of places in North Country where I got like 26% of the vote. But again, it's a precinct only, and it's probably because I showed up there, and I showed up all over. Those you don't know, I literally spent time in every single county every single year. We have counties in New York State. To give you an example of the diversity of my state, Brooklyn is the largest state by population, 2.3 million people in Brooklyn. Hamilton County is the smallest. That is 4,500 people. Yes, 2.3 million, 4,500. And I was in both counties. Didn't matter. I go to Hamilton County every year, even though there's only 4,500 people there. So in some of these smaller counties, I'm the only guy who shows up. I show up. They go, wow, Larry actually cared in a small county. Yes, if I'm going to talk the talk of saying localism matters, if I'm going to talk the talk of saying that each county should be its own, I got to walk the walk. Otherwise, you're not going to believe me. So I walk the walk. I go to every single county, even the smallest ones. The smallest county by size is actually Manhattan, even though there's over 1 million people in Manhattan. And the largest one by size is St. Lawrence County, which is North Country. So we have a very diverse state in New York. So, and I love it. That's a good thing, by the way, right? This is why we should allow people to be their own people in their own counties, because we do like diversity. That's the point. Yes. So Dave says exactly it. It also signs are a poll testing thing. You can determine who would win Iowa caucuses based on yard signs in a given area. Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. So yes, so it does matter. Absolutely. 100%. 100%. Josh says the most common sign I saw visiting Indiana in 2020 was rainwater. Yes, absolutely. Did seem to add a comfort level of legitimacy. Oh, I like that. A comfort level of legitimacy. I agree completely. Yes, it does. It makes it feel like, you know what? I'm not the only guy who's supporting this person. And rainwater was a great candidate. For those of you who don't know, rainwater ran for governor in 2020 in Indiana. So yeah, great. In Indiana, Iowa. Did I say Iowa? I think I said Indiana. Anyway, whatever. It was Indiana. So yes, he really was good. So yes. Let's see here. Daniel says, unfortunately, my blue truck with your name on the back was scrapped this year. Oh, that's okay. We'll get you another one. We'll get you another one. I hope so. So Steve Becker says, I plan to write a check for a G. You just speak to someone in the campaign. Someone will reach out to you for that check. Thank you. There's $1,000 right there, guys. See, someone understands without question. If you can give $1,000, this is the time. Absolutely. Don't let Steven be by himself. It's not fair. It's not fair. Don't leave him hanging. Match him so we can make our numbers and double them. It does matter tremendously. Thank you, Stephen, for that. I appreciate it so much. Volunteer says, my sign is up, my old one. I'll be buying more and bumper stickers. Thank you. I appreciate that. Jennifer says, got my Larry bumper sticker on. Thank you so much. Yes. Shelly says, signs make people Google you. Ooh, I like that. Yes, Shelly, you are correct. Signs do that. Absolutely. They absolutely do. Yes, absolutely. I love that. Thomas says, liking, commenting, and sharing on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Gave her $100. Thank you, Thomas, so much. Yes, absolutely. 100%. It does matter tremendously. Look, the reality on why we're still sitting here fighting is because it really matters to a lot of people. It matters because people need to be happy. And I know this sounds crazy, but for us to fix New York, we have to focus on happy New Yorkers. To focus on happy New Yorkers, we have to focus on people not leaving New York and wanting to stay. How do we do that? Here's how. 3 things: affordability, safety, opportunity. If we focus on this, affordability, safety, opportunity, New Yorkers will want to stay. We are losing too many New Yorkers. We are watching our families break up. Too many people want to leave. It is a bad idea. I need people to stay. We can't fix this state if people keep leaving. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. I will judge my first term as governor by one metric only. Did I stop the bleeding? Are people stopping to rush out of New York State like there's no tomorrow? If that happens, I have done a good job in my first term and I deserve a second term. If that doesn't happen, I have failed and I do not deserve a second term. That is what I'm talking about. Without question, we have to make sure that people stop leaving. If people stop leaving, we have a chance at winning. Affordability. You've heard my plan. In 4 years, once we create the NIST, the New York State Social Trust, which is what other countries do, Singapore does, Norway does. We don't do it. We should. We have New York State, the financial capital of the world. We're not even using it. We create a social trust that permanent capital wants to put money in. Why does this matter? 2 reasons. Number one, right now, one of the biggest reasons why it's so expensive for housing is because permanent capital is purchasing all the homes and turning everyone into renters. Why are they doing that? It's the safest place to put their money. So I will give you another safe place to give your money. Put it into my trust, which will give you a dividend every single year. It's not debt. It's dividend-based. They put their money in and get a dividend every single year as long as New York State exists and keeps making money. That's all that matters. That happens, we're good. It gives them a reason to stay in the state, to make money in the state, and to invest in the state. They do that, then they stop buying up all of this property and they put money into this instead. Now you get to have stabilized rent. You get to be able to buy a house in New York State. Wouldn't that be nice? Number one. But number two, with this trust, in 4 years, first 2 years, within the first year or two, maybe 1 or 2 years, we can raise enough money to pay for school tax. Yes, school tax being paid out of the trust. If that happens, you don't have to pay school tax in your property tax anymore. For most New Yorkers, about half of their property tax gone. Imagine if your property tax was cut in half. Rent stabilize. Retirees can stay. The youth can actually rent. You can stay in your house. Who's talking about this? Nobody. It's about, well, have a gas holiday or whatever stupid stuff we're talking about. And all Hochul can say is, we'll put more money into stuff. I don't know how. You're going to pay for it. I'm going to pay for it. She's not paying for it. I'm telling you, we can get it to where big business, excuse me, big money, big business can pay for our school tax so that your property tax goes down. And I give you an actual plan to make that happen, which is already being done in other states. There are countries in this world where their fund pays for up to 20% of their total budget. Why aren't we doing that? We can. We should. We could do that. That's how you want to get the money to go there, get it out of spending money on buying up homes in New York State, lower your property tax. Add on top of that one more thing. Imagine if you're a senior in New York State, as long as you've owned a home for at least 10 years in New York State, you don't have to own one now, but as long as you've owned a home for 10 years in New York State, your property tax at 65 goes down 5% every year until 85, no property tax. Well, Larry, that's going to lose the property tax money. It's not, because now I got more New Yorkers retiring here and spending their pensions here. You earn your pension, spend it in New York State. Stop spending it in Florida, Texas, Tennessee. Spend it here. I'll give you a reason to stay. Spend it here. Stay in your home if you want to. That's good too. If you stay in your home, you won't go to a nursing home. The state pays for nursing homes. We know that with Cuomo. All of a sudden now we're making more money in New York State. More people are retiring here, spending their pensions in New York State, not spending it in Florida, and not going to nursing homes, not putting people in nursing homes here. Win, win, win. We keep going, and within 4 years, we can make it to where we can end the income tax. Yeah, we can end the New York State income tax. Imagine if New York State had no income tax. Every single person now gets a raise without any business having to spend extra money. Property tax going down. No state income tax. I'm increasing the odds of people staying here, opening up businesses, keeping their careers here, keeping jobs here, opportunity and safety and affordability. We can change this state and make it that way, but we're not. We're talking about ghost guns and death penalty and stuff that means nothing, stuff that will solve nothing. Meanwhile, we're watching New Yorkers leave this state every single day, packing up and leaving. Our state's collapsing, and we're talking about stuff that doesn't even matter. I'm giving you real answers. That's why you should donate. That's why you should support me. That's why you should do it. If you can give $100, give it right now. If you can give $1,000, give it now. If you can give $500, give it now. Give what you can give. I've given. I wouldn't ask you to do anything I wouldn't do. I'm not working now, so I'm going to be in debt at the end of this. And again, don't feel sorry for me. I volunteered for this. I knew this was going to happen. So I get it. That was going to happen. I'm okay. I'm not asking you to be in debt at the end of this. I'm asking you to dig deep as I'm digging deep and to give. That's what I'm asking. If you can't do it, if you're like, Larry, I love you. You're awesome. Can't do it. Okay. Then like and comment and share. That's free. Do that right now. Click that like button, subscribe, whatever you got to do, wherever you're watching. This is being shown on 7 different sites. Wherever site you're looking at, click the like button, comment on it, share it onto other people's stuff. Share this into, like, I don't know, Hochul stuff. Share this into someone else's stuff. Share this into a group. Share this on Twitter. Share this into someone else's feed. Share this to the best of your ability. Let people see it. It does matter. It's important. Guys, I want to say thank you so much for what you've done tonight. Thank you for watching and putting up with me for 3 hours. It's what I do. I don't stop talking. If you can give, please give now. It does matter. I know I'm bugging you, but I'm bugging you because it matters. I only bug you every 4 years. I give you a break every couple years, right? I bug you every 4 years. Now I'm bugging you again. I'm in action. I'm not working. I'm just doing this. I'm asking you to bleed with me. That's what I'm asking. Please do it to the best of your ability. Thank you guys so much for this evening. I will see you all very soon.